Hello? Testing? Testing? 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? Are we live? Question mark, question mark. Let me check. Can I hear myself? Alright, there we go. Great. I can actually hear myself. Lovely. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 indeed. Yo, what's up gamers? We have the big 0.4 right around the corner. And today we are gonna be reviewing the big 0.4's patch notes. Not really in-game, but I have the game pulled up because why not? Maybe we can reference something in case they show something. I can hear you too. That's good. It's good that you can hear me. That is intended. What is up, Hassan, Stan? How are you guys doing? It's been a while since the last stream. Stuck at work. That sucks to hear. I hope you have a good time at work besides that. But yeah. I don't... I might as well do a YouTube intro, right? Well, I can probably just edit that in. I kinda just wanna look at the patch notes right now, to be honest, because I think it looks pretty hype. So, let's actually just go right into it. Good otherwise? That's good. Very nice. Today is a Friday. Fridays are cool. So, actually, I don't know about you guys, but recently I started playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. I actually was already playing Magic a lot as a kid, but recently I found a local game store that actually runs Commander Nights. I just thought it was fun, so like every Friday they just do that, and yeah, it's been really fun recently. That's what I've been up to for the most part, but yeah. Patches are cool, but sadly not much endgame changes. Briefly went over them? Well, we will be unbriefly going over them today. So, let's take a look. Not much endgame changes, supposedly. That does not sound good, but we will see. So let's actually just look at the patch notes first. Try getting into it, but none of my friends play. I found out you can actually also play online, and it's also much more proxy friendly. Honestly, if there was... without proxying, there's no way Magic would be playable for me, because I like making high power decks. And it's just so painful to actually make decks that are not just breaking the bank. I mean, I can't even break my bank. I straight up can't afford any decks I have. But yeah. You love Magic, you had a Mana Crypt and 2 Dockside. That is sad. I miss Mana Crypt actually. Dude, I miss Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus so much. Alright. So, Magic aside, let's see. So, fresh new economy, blah 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 blah. Doesn't seem like anything here is anything other than... this just seems like the message that says you can start a new league, pretty much. New content and features. New playable class, the Druid. The Druid is actually right here. It's in the content reveal from GGG. Let's actually just take a quick look at it.
So let's roll the trailer for
Proxies are definitely the way though.
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
Just a
What's
trailer.
wrong with him?
It doesn't actually really show much gameplay. There's some gameplay in this part of the video.
Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to...
Essentially, what we're gonna see here is that Druid is a shapeshifting class that has multiple forms. It's basically a demon form class that has 3 different variants of demon form, from what I can tell. You can become a bear, a wolf, or a wyvern, and they are pretty much just directly tied to elemental damage. The bear seems to be the tank class, the wolf seems to be a sort of fast slash hybrid melee thingy, and the wyvern seems to be a long-range spellcaster kind of thing. That's what I've gathered from actually watching this myself. Aside from just watching some direct gameplay from this, they did show the skill tree. Let me actually turn off the sound from PoE 2. So, the druid skill tree is actually very interesting. So, they showed both ascendances, and one of them is the shaman right here. So the shaman has this skill right here, which says you can actually... No, not this one. It's this one. Rage affects spell damage. So what this means is you can stack rage and it will buff your spell damage. For those who don't understand, this is gigantic. It's actually not gigantic in the sense that this is giga broken. It might be, depending on if there's more rage support. But currently, Demon Form does blow this out of the water. But also, this is a really cool and very, very powerful thing to have. This is a gigantic amount of spell damage that doesn't require building around Demon Form, which is the important part here. So, it is actually very big. It also has its own version of just free rage regen. Like, you just click this button right here, spend 2 ascendancy points, and you have rage forever. But what seems to be more interesting from this class is that runes give you additional benefits. And what we will see right here is that runes have special unique effects if you're a shaman and have this unlocked. I don't know what all of them are, so I can't say if this is like amazing or poo, maybe somewhere in between. But for now, it looks really interesting at the very least. And yeah, it does just look really interesting. It looks very special, very new, potentially very, very powerful. And I think that's very cool. So already, Shaman seems like a good class. The other things they have in their ascendancy, let me actually find directly in the patch notes if it's here. Is it directly here? Not really. It doesn't seem like the classes are directly in the patch notes, from what I can see. They look really slow. I don't know if Druid is gonna be... I mean, inherently I feel like Druid is gonna be a slow class. Just because it seems to be a melee spellcaster hybrid. Melee classes are slow. Spellcasters are kind of slow. Just by nature, at least at this point in the game. Maybe that will change, potentially, but for now I don't see why it would. So I do think Druid is going to be a slow class. But yeah, that being said, that's what Shaman does. It is looking very good. I don't know about broken, maybe, but potentially. But for now, it just looks very cool. And then there is this class from the trailer. There is the Oracle. This is the other Druid Ascendancy. And I don't know if it has anything really useful. They didn't really show anything. Aside from just this Ascendancy node looks insane. It unlocks parts of the tree that simply do not exist for other classes. So it basically has its own skill tree.
From alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you.
I will let Jonathan explain it.
For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs.
So yeah, if you path over here on the tree, other classes just don't have this. This is also just really good. Like, this is a really good node. For minions at least. Minions currently are very bad, but maybe they will not be next patch. I don't know, we will see. But the nodes do seem to be very powerful, so them having a new skill tree is kind of big.
with the trade-off of making your reservations to have a small chance to avoid death.
You could also just, in theory, if you have this, you could just be completely immortal by just being lucky, which is kind of funny. Even data is going to be slow now. Maybe. We will see. Let's actually just go through the patch notes a bit more directly, since that's most of what's in the trailer, at least the druid. There is also the lig mechanic. The lig mechanic looks really interesting, I will say. But for now, Abyss is a core mechanic now, which is cool. So, one thing they went over in the reveal trailer is that you will not be able to desecrate waystones anymore. So, preserved vertebrae will no longer be here. This is a really bad change for loot, but it's a really good change that I am very happy with, because Abyss crafting waystones is so fucking miserable. So this is a thumbs up for me. So yeah, no more desecrating waystones, no more vertebrae. There is an Abyss passive tree in the Atlas. So you can actually use your Atlas points for Abyss now. And you'll find them just randomly and through tablets. This is actually really good, I would say. I really like this change. Well, it's not really a change, it's more of a core update, since we're getting a new league mechanic. So yeah, I think that's really good. There is also a new weapon class, the Talismans. These are actually usable by any class, by the way. So it's not just Druid that will be able to shapeshift. Every class is going to be able to shapeshift into a wolf, a bear, or a wyvern. You don't need to play Druid to do that. Because what you actually need is a weapon. And that weapon is just the Talisman weapon class. We will see if the stats on them are bad or good, but for now, that is what we know. The fact of the matter is that every class is going to be able to shapeshift, which sounds cool. I think that's fun. They did mention that there's going to be some improvements in optimization. They kind of went over it a little bit here. Apparently, the game is just going to lag less. Thumbs up. That's good. I approve. They did make some player changes. Fuck crafting waystones? Absolutely. Fuck crafting waystones. They did also mention that you will not be able to craft delirium on waystones either, which is gigantic. So, yeah. I don't know if it's in the patch notes. Yeah, waystones can no longer be instilled using liquid emotions. Yeah, we will no longer have to sit there instilling our quota tabs of waystones. We can actually just run the maps without worrying about delirium. That was uncorrupted tier 6 in waystone. Yes, it was. I did see that in the trailer. This could, by the way, mean that there's gonna be tier 17s in the new patch, because double corrupting, in theory, lets you corrupt the waystones as well. So if you corrupt it once, it goes through tier 16. If you corrupt the tier 16, you can get a tier 17. I don't know if that's actually how it's gonna work, but they did mention somewhere that you will be able to double corrupt your items using this thing right here.
Device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding another enchantment. This has the capability to craft some very powerful...
Uncorrupted with desecrated mod. Yeah, the thing is, you guys are right. It was uncorrupted. I'm not sure how that's possible. It might be through Arbiter. It is possible that Arbiter just drops tier 16s again, like it did in 0.1. I'm not entirely sure, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, for now, double corrupting is a thing. it's a very exciting thing to look forward to. And yeah. Aside from that, yeah, CPU changes, performance is gonna be better, thumbs up. Player changes. Tailwind is now worse. I don't personally care about this. I know a lot of people are gonna be dying inside seeing this, because they play Deadeye. But yeah, instead of 3%, it's gonna be 2%, and 10% instead of 15%. So yeah, Tailwind is worse. People are gonna be slower if they play Deadeye. Unarmed attack time is actually slower. This is really bad for Hollow Palm. I'm not sure why they felt like they had to nerf that, but they did. So Hollow Palm is now worse. Slightly, I guess. Maybe not so slightly. This is like a 15% nerf. Great news for your processor? Absolutely. Same for mine. I don't have a great setup, I'm gonna be real. I'm on a 3050, so any optimization is a thumbs up for me. And also it just should be in general, like it enables everyone to play, you know? Like, it's always very cool to see that even people with lower grade setups can run the game. I think that's always a good thing. Rage spending costs have been changed to 10 rage. That is interesting. Only played Deadeye since 0.1. Yeah. Deadeye mains are in shambles. Well, not exactly in shambles. It's still good. It's just slightly worse. It's like 33% worse. But it's not the end of the world. It's still playable, I would say. I'm not sure if this matters for something right now. Maybe it will matter if we scroll down a little more, but apparently everything that costs rage will now cost specifically 10 rage. And I guess that's a thing that just happens. I think that's fine. Physical reduction from armor can no longer cause a hit to deal 0 damage. So this matters for two things. For those who don't know, there are people that run Sekimas and they do last flame runs. For those who don't know what that is, the last flame... Oh my god, I gotta log in. Insane. Yeah, so for those who don't know, the last flame is how you get the Temporalis item from Sekimas. It sets your honor to 1. So if you take 0 damage, which is accomplishable and possible through insane amounts of armor, you can take 0 damage from everything. And then you'll just casually not worry about honor. This is no longer the case, so goodbye to those builds. I think that's a good change, honestly. I don't know if it will matter for anything else, but yeah. Igniting aura effects no longer apply infinite ignites. That's whatever, for the most part. New ascendancy changes. Nerfs, buffs, question mark, exclamation mark, let's find out. Deadeye loses Wind Ward. I actually have never played Deadeye, believe it or not. So let's just take a look at what Deadeye is losing. You take 3% less damage per tailwind, except now you don't. Bullseye now requires cold shots. What's that? Oh, I see. They're gonna make Bullseye go over here. Makes sense. I guess it will be slightly stronger in exchange, which is fine. That's a rip, yeah. Your damage reduction as Deadeye just completely gutted. New Mirage Deadeye Ascendancy passive skill, which grants Mirage Deadeye meta skill. You fire a range attack projectile, will create a Mirage that uses socketed range attacks for a short duration. That is actually really cool. That's basically Mirage Archers, but for free. And no downside. Yeah, that's actually really cool. That's basically double damage for Deadeyes, isn't it? Not quite, I guess, but it's pretty good. So yeah, then I got way less tankiness and way more damage, from what I can tell. Seems good to me. Pathfinder. The Ascendancy that I don't know if anyone knows what the fuck it does, just because I don't pretty much never see anyone playing this, but let's see. Contagious Contamination has been removed. So your poisons will no longer spread. Practical Remedies has been removed. So you're no longer immune to shock, ignite, or freeze. That's pretty relevant. That's probably good. Now running assault grunts cannot be heavy stun while sprinting. That's actually kind of nice. Pathseeker, Path of the Warrior can allocate passive from the warrior starting point. Oh wait, that's really cool actually. Yeah, Deadeye basically just gets more damage. Wait, this is actually really cool for Pathfinder. You can start from Sorceress or Warrior, part of the tree. I actually really like that. I think that's a really creative thing. It also gives you 4 skill points. That is just straight up really good, really cool. I like that change. I think that makes that Pathfinder way more interesting. And it's also just really good, to be honest. Like, being able to choose where you start from your tree is very powerful, believe it or not. Traveler's Wisdom now grants Pathseeker, or requires it rather. Now instead grants attribute passive skills, offer additional points. Wait. Oh. Wait, guys, is this not huge? So for every attribute skill you get 5% more damage. Or cost efficiency or global defenses, but really what we care about is damage. So, how many attribute skills do you usually pick up in a tree? I feel like you're taking somewhere between 50 to 80, depending on your build, I would say. Let's assume a middle ground. So let's just say 60 times 5. That is just 300% damage. That is just good. Yeah, that's just very good. It's not multiplicative, so it's not actually insane, but it is still just very good. To be fair, Pathfinder doesn't seem that good even with that, but it definitely makes it way better. And I think that's good. So, approved. I approve this change. Amazon. Amazon's getting reworks, it seems. Elemental Surge is now reworked. Instead of what it did previously, whenever you consume a charged trigger, Elemental Surge, you gain 3 lightning surges. Wait, what? Now provides when you consume a charged trigger, Elemental Surge, you instead gain 2 cold and lightning and fire surges. I have also never played Amazon, so I'm not entirely sure how the surges work. But, from what I can tell, they pretty much just boost your non-melee projectile attacks, which is cool. I'm not sure if this matters a lot, or a little, or not at all, or somewhere in between, but I guess it happens. It doesn't seem like the biggest change ever, but maybe it is. Maybe I'm just not in the know. So I will just leave that there. Ritualist. The stolen modifier duration is now 82 to 120 seconds from Javelin level 1 to 20. Quality is now plus 20 seconds to stolen duration. So for those who don't know, this is the skill that absolutely fucking nobody picks in the Ritualist skill tree. This is the one that gives you a modifier from the rare. From a rare, after you sit there for like a few minutes. It doesn't actually need to be used on a rare anymore, you can use it on yourself. But yeah, random monster modifier for pretty much 20 seconds. Now it's gonna be for 120. I don't think that matters, honestly. Yeah, it is discount Headhunter. It's Headhunter from Temu because it's one modifier and you need to sit there forever to use it. And it's only just one. Like, I really don't think you're ever gonna sit there and just use that before a map. And even if you do, it will run out halfway. Because it's shorter than a Shrine buff, realistically. So yeah, I still don't think it's worth it. Yeah, it's still ass, basically. Corrupted Life Force. You deal 50% more damage to enemies affected by Blood Boil. Does that matter? I don't think it does. Purely because, what does Blood Boil do again? Enemies in your presence accumulate Blood Boils periodically. Yeah, that does not matter, but it's a good change for damage. Like, it just essentially says enemies in your presence do take 15% more damage. That's pretty much what it says. Well, not exactly. From you, specifically. It says you deal 15% more damage to enemies in your presence. That's pretty much it. It's alright. It's not the biggest deal ever. It's not the smallest deal ever. It's something. Thumbs up, I guess. Ritualist was the first thing you checked. No changes to bonuses to rings. Amulets means that I will leak that with Huntress. That's nice. Yeah, that's true. Ritualist has still got the ring slot and the bonus to rings and amulets. It's all still there. Ritualist chilling. Rarity bots are not in shambles currently. Warbringer. This is where the warrior enjoyers are gonna cry, I think, because every time I read the patch notes about warrior changes, it's always so painful to read because it's always just so bad. So let's actually see. Imploding Impacts now grants fully broken armor you inflict, increases all damage taken from hits instead. Ancestral Warhorn minion summoned by Warbringer's Acid Call notable now consistently hits close-up enemies. Ritualist can use the rare corpse to get all its mods. I guess it can, but it still is just so long, and you basically are using Headhunter, except you have to sit there for a bit to use it, and it costs your Ascendancy. I don't know, I mean, it's kind of cool that it lasts long now, at least, but I feel like if you really want that effect, you just go Headhunter. In theory, Headhunter is just expensive to get on League Start, so this is a budget option, but I don't know if you want to trade your Ascendancy for it. Like, I don't think Headhunter is better than an Ascendancy. That being said, it's only 2 points, so maybe you're fine with it, but yeah. Either way, this is very sad for Warbringers. Warbringer seems to still be ass. All this says is that whenever you inflict fully armor broken to things, it will also increase elemental damage and chaos damage. That's it. It's pretty much completely useless. Like, it's, I guess, if you're a support class in a group that is like farming in a party, I guess you make them deal more damage, but for you, I don't think you give a shit about this. I think this is just irrelevant, and Warbringer is still ass. Titan. Surprising Strength is gone. Crushing Impacts grants 25% more damage against heavy stunned enemies. Let's look at Titan. Where is Surprising Strength? Over here. So you get to get 25% instead of 50, but you save 2 skill points. And every third slam that doesn't create fissures causes 1 additional aftershock. Alright, well, I guess that's cool. So you, as a Titan, just have 1 aftershock and 25% chance for aftershocks, but you're still just playing mace. I guess that's cool. It doesn't really matter. I think Titan is still just a freaking, hulking form bot for the most part. I don't think you care about this too much, unless Mace gets changed, but for now, I don't think we care about this. I think we still just say Titan sucks and move on. Same with Warbringer, or rather Warrior in general, but let's actually see, that's a lot of text. Maybe this is relevant. So, each notable connector to Smith Masterworks now grants 200 to armor, in addition to its other bonuses. That's relevant, actually, because that means if you have a lot of those, let's say you have 4, that's 800 armor. That's not nothing. That is in fact just not nothing. So 800 armor, let's say, that's very good. No padded plates, lining, or heavy bracing. So you lose your stun threshold, your cold res, and I believe the other one is just the lightning. Yeah, you don't care about those, so basically these are irrelevant. We don't care. We care about this though, so for now it is looking good. Causes body armor to generate 60% increased glory. That's cool. 100% thorn damage. Also cool. 30% increased spirit. Nice, I guess. Internal layer is now 100% crit damage reduction. Well, rather, you basically just don't take criticals when you get critted. That's cool. It's not exactly that, but it is cool. It's a lot better, it's basically twice as good. Heat proofing now causes your body armor to grant the bonus of being unaffected by all damaging elements. That is nice, actually. Fire spell melee hit costs no mana when triggering and grants 10% increased damage per level, up to 200% at level 20. Temper weapon now costs no mana. Combust trigger by its power attacks now deal 25% more damage at all levels and has a bigger radius. The living weapon now changes targets less frequently. As a mace, it has a 6-second cooldown. As a quarterstaff, it has a 6-second cooldown instead of 10. And as a spear, they fixed the bug. So, the manifest weapon, I don't think we care. I think this is still just relevant. You never pick this. Temper weapon, more damage. Fire spell, more damage. Now costs no mana. Actually very relevant. These are good changes, I would say. I don't think it makes Smith amazing, but it does make Smith a lot better. So, like, this is a considerable upgrade to Smith. Thumbs up. Very good. Very cool. I still don't think Smith is that good, but at least it's more playable, which, you know, I cannot complain about. I think it's going in the right direction. So yeah, thumbs up. Infernalist. For those who don't know, Infernalist is pretty much the only class I play, because it's the best class, in my opinion. And why that is because it is the class that does the damage. It's just a big damage class. I also made a Smith at some point, but we don't talk about that, because Smith is bad. It's a warrior. We don't care about warrior. We're a witch main here, on this channel. Because Infernalist is good, basically. Oh yeah, did you guys see? There's only 7 days until the update. In 1 week we will have 0.4, and that's very exciting. Only 1 week, gamers. But yeah, Infernalist is the best class, in my opinion, for damage purposes. For anything else, I don't really care that much, but it's also just a witch. And if you're playing a witch, you also have access to Blood Mage and Leech, which are just great classes in general. So for that, I pretty much just play as Infernalist. So, Seething Body no longer grants, while on your high Infernal Flame, you and allies gain 50% of damage as fire. Instead, it grants gain Elemental Archon when you cast a spell while on high Infernal Flame. That is actually a really big nerf. you also just lose it when you reach maximum. Wait, that's terrible. Oh my god, wait, guys. Well, the thing is, the main reason you play this class is Demon Form and Grinning Immolation. And those are unchanged. Like, these are still just unbelievably cracked. But Seething Body is still just really good. It's half your damage gained as fire, which is gigantic. But instead of that, you now are gonna have Flame Archon, which is 25% more fire damage with spells. And you're not gonna be able to deal non-fire damage. So if you're doing anything non-fire, you can basically just see this as deleted from the game. Like, this node is just gone. So that is a huge nerf, actually. It's also just really bad for minion infernalists. Because if you're playing minions and you have that node to give your minions fire damage, you can no longer do that. So yeah, big nerf. Not enough to make me not want to play Infernalist, but big nerf, absolutely. Whispers of the Flesh. Now grant targets cursed by you have 100% reduced life regen. That is the most nothing burger change I've ever seen. Doesn't matter, don't care, pass. Okay, cool, whatever, question mark. If you're doing anything non-spell, then it does not exist. Yes, that is also true. If you're doing anything non-spell or non-fire, that node is just gone, pretty much. And that's generally what you do. Either non-spell or non-fire, because the best thing to do with spells is it's either lightning or cold. So, yeah, big nerf, pretty much. Blood Mage, as I said, this change pretty much does absolutely nothing. There's very few things in the game that care about life regen, and when they do, you just one-shot them, so this is just whatever. Stormweaver. When you collect an elemental infusion, you gain another different infusion, and now it's 100% instead of 50%. That's cool. Infusions are currently a pretty bad mechanic, I think. Not design-wise, but just power level-wise, because they're really annoying to collect. So I'm not sure if this like really changes anything, but I mean, they did do it, so. But still, they have kicked the demon on me harder after seeing your channel, to be honest. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, last league, I don't know if you guys remember, but Sunder got obliterated. And I would like to think that that is because I made a video with Mace and it was using Sunder. And in 0.3 they just obliterated Sunder. So yeah. I don't want to gas myself up too much, but I do like to think that I contributed to all the Infernalists and the Sunder nerfs that they're doing. But yeah, let's just keep going. So, Stormweaver, 100% chance to get infusions now. That's cool. Thumbs up, I guess. As I said, infusions are kind of niche, so I don't think this changes much. Storm Recollection now also grants ceramics can be collected from 50% further away, and +2 limit of elemental infusions. Yeah, I just don't think this changes that much, as I said. I think it's cool, but infusion playstyles I just don't think are currently super viable. So, just thumbs up. Kind of nothing burger level change, but maybe it matters a little bit. Either way, it happens, I guess. Chronomancer. Inevitable agony granted by inevitability has been updated. It now ignores the curse limit. That is actually very relevant for people who want to play Chronomancer as support. Because previously you would have to up your curse limit to use it, which is completely nuts to think that you're playing an Ascendancy and you have to gimp yourself to actually use that Ascendancy. Because it couldn't be stacked with Temp Chains unless you +1 your curse limit. Now grants cursed targets to take 50% of hit damage dealt to them while cursed again when the curse expires. Yeah, that's good. I mean, this is just a good change for Chronomancer. If you're playing support, it's relevant. If you're not playing support, I guess it might matter. If you're playing a curse-related build. Either way, good change. Not super impactful for solo players, I would say, but it's something. And yeah, just good change. Thumbs up. Gemlings. Gemlings now have +1 to cold per 3 blue. Oh, okay, so they just changed this to 3 instead of 4. Cool. Thumbs up, I guess. Not huge, but it's something. Thaumaturgical Dynamism. Now generates a charge once every 5 seconds instead of 8. I mean, sure, thumbs up. Not huge, but it's something. Tactician, there's a lot of text here. So your command Death from Above cooldown is now 20 instead of 40 seconds. You fire volley every 0.75 instead of 2. And you fire 6 instead of 4. But the damage is nerfed. What I'm understanding is that this just got very buffed and very nerfed. So I wanna say that this kind of just cancels itself out. I have not played Tactician, so I can't speak too much on this topic, but it seems like it just happens, I guess. Strategic Embankments has also been updated. Artillery Ballista no longer grants 40%, but 20% skill speed instead. That's good. That's way better, actually. You just get 25% more instead of 50% increased. That's also way better. 25% of damage instead of 15. Wow, okay. This node is just way better, I guess. Spell Totem. Oh yeah, there's a new totem, by the way, guys. They showed it briefly over here.
Powerful.
I don't know
Was adding
where
not
exactly it is.
another big source of problems in the
But they made a new skill that is just a totem that casts spells for you. I don't know if it's like somewhere directly over here, but they did show it in the trailer. Either way, oh yeah, there's also the Abyss Atlas tree. We will look at that in a bit. But yeah, Spell Totem is exciting. You'll be able to use it to cast spells through meta skills by just doing nothing, which is fun. Witch Hunter. Witchbane now has enemies have maximum concentration equal to 30% of their max life. I like how they just outlined that this is a buff. That, I guess, is cool. They have buffed the strongest Merc Ascendancy. Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, this is a buff, and this is also a buff. But these are also buffs, but these are so much bigger buffs than these two. Like, the Witch Hunter or Gemling changes don't matter so much, but the Tactician changes actually seem very relevant. Like, these seem big. I don't play the class, so I don't know, but numbers are going up, whereas here, numbers are going slightly up. You know what I mean? As for monks, let's go to an invoker. You get 35% less evasion rating instead of 50. You get 50% increased spirit reservation efficiency. That's cool. You now have a 12-second cooldown from this skill. And when you inflict an elemental ailment, it no longer has the clause that you can only get the thing, the Unbound Fury, once every 0.2 seconds. So, I guess that's cool. It also is now 1 instead of 2, but I'm pretty sure that if there's no cap, this ends up being way stronger. Because if you inflict it 10 times in 1 second, then you effectively are getting 5 times the thing. Because you inflicted 10 times, in 1 second you're hard capped to 0.2, so you get 2 times 5, so that's 10. Whereas now, you would just not be capped, but you would get 10. Or you would get 1 for each. So you would just get 10. Whereas if you inflicted 20 times, you would still get 10 on the first one, but now you would get 20 on Bond Fury. So yeah, this is just an upgrade, I think. I think that's cool. You wonder how good Calling Strike and Decimating Strike would be regarding 40% HP increase for mobs. I don't actually know if the mobs will get 40% more HP. They did say that in the trailer they would get like 40% more loot and health. But I don't know if it will be directly reflected from here to there. I think it's possible they change the values and then they will have 40% more of what those values are. So it's possible that it's not going to be 40% more of what we know now. That being said, it is an interesting question. It's possible that Calling and Decimating Strike are better now. So that's one thing to consider. Acolyte. Embrace of Darkness now gives 10 max darkness per level instead of 8. That's nice. Thumbs up. Into the Breach, granted by Waking Dreams, now leech 15% life and mana instead of 7. And they last for 8 instead of 5 seconds. Choice of power, life and mana will now also grant 50% increased effect of remnants and remnant pickup range. That's cool. Void Illusion, granted by Grasp of the Void, has a cooldown of 4 seconds at all gem levels instead of 6 to 4. I don't think that really matters, because it just evens out to 4 regardless. But it does do almost twice the damage. So that's big. And it now has a cooldown, or it now has 3 cooldown charges instead of 1. That's cool, actually. So, Acolyte of Jayula has this skill right here. Where is it? It has Void Illusion, which I don't remember exactly what it does, but if I remember correctly, it's you create a short-lived copy of yourself, and that copy can be damaged by enemies, and they will explode when that happens. So whenever you dodge roll, the enemies will just hit you. They will not damage you because you're dodge rolling, so you have iframes. But your copies will explode. And now you're gonna have several charges of this and it will do way more damage. That's basically it. And you're also just gonna have more leech with your Into the Breach thing. Which is cool. Good changes. Considerable upgrade, I would say. Not gigantic, but considerable for sure. Thumbs up. And I think that's it for the Ascendancy changes. So now we have Passive Tree. They added 250 new passive skills to the Druid side of the tree, which is big. They did say that in the trailer as well, that 250% more skills, which is a lot. And a lot is, well, a lot is a lot, right? So, yeah. As you guys can see, the skill tree is already quite big, right? So imagine now having 250 more skills in it. Currently, there are, I believe, 964 notables in the game. If we assume that each notable has 3 minors, then 250 by 4 would be 62.5. So we can assume that there's at least like 60 more notables, I would say. I think that's fair to assume. 60 more notables that you can find with your Megalo, with your instills on your amulet. Could be big. And those things are also just gonna be potentially really cool and really good. So, thumbs up. Values of flammability on the passive rig have been increased massively. Thumbs up. Flammability and ignite have been very bad so far, so yeah, just thumbs up. Flame lighting and ice archon have been changed to elemental archon to better support build using multiple elements. Thumbs up. Approved. Archons were very bad last league, I would say, for the most part, purely because they were outshined by non-elemental builds, like Ada Lewis mostly. So yeah, thumbs up. I don't know if this will matter, but seems good. Hollow Palm Technique. It grants 1% more attack speed per 75 item evasion rating on armor instead of 25. Guys, this is a huge nerf, actually. You get like 1/3 as much attack speed now, and your base attack speed is just lower. So let's assume you have 3000 evasion. Divide that by 25, you get 120% X attack speed. Divide that by 75, you get 40. So before it was 1.4 times 1.2 or 2.2, right? So your attack speed would be 3.08. Now it will be times 1.4. That is a pretty big deal. Yeah, you're gonna get like 1/3 of the attack speed you did before. From 3.08 to 2.31. Insane. Hollow Palm kinda gutted. Damn. I guess that happens. I never played it, so I can't really speak much, but unfortunate for the Hollow Palm enjoyers. Walker of the Wilds has been removed, and its effects have been moved to a newly added lineage support. I love how they just removed that skill, considering that the only thing people really use it for is to just get the Against the Darkness note from here, which is kind of funny, so I guess it's gone now. Elemental Equilibrium. Oh, it's not random anymore. Yeah, so previously, this thing was random. The nodes are just random, right? So instead of a random element, it will now change cold to fire, fire to lightning, and lightning to cold. So it's more consistent, but also the inconsistency did matter for some things. For example, when you want to cast Comet, you want a fire infusion. How do you get a fire infusion? You can't really do that with no enemies. So what you do is you cast Orb of Storms, which leaves a lightning infusion. You will randomly turn it into a fire infusion eventually, and that's it. Whereas now, fire or lightning infusions are now cold. So instead you will need to use something like Frost Bomb, which creates a cold one to make a fire one. So, yeah. I guess there's ways around it, but yeah. Change happens. Crimson Assault now grants 50% more magnitude of bleeding you inflict. Holy shit, 50% more magnitude of bleeding? That is huge. I mean, that's just 50% more. It's multiplicative. That is gigantic. Bleeding is not very good right now, but this keystone is actually insane, isn't it? Because the only other thing that says more on the keystones is Pain Achievement, which is 30% more crit bonus, and this is insanely powerful. To be fair, it's arguably still just not as good, but Pain Achievement is just the GOAT. So this is just upgraded massively, just very good. You also will not probably be able to put 2 to 3x attack speed runes in your gloves and Coolmac belt next patch. Yeah. So, for those who have not heard the news yet, there are some changes. Most runes are now limited to 1. And by most, I mean most of the relevant ones. So, for example, you can only have +1 spell rune now. Only 1 elemental rune, and the list goes on. Basically, all the important, very big, very powerful runes are limited to 1. Some of them are buffed to compensate for this, but for the most part, this will force you to use different runes than the optimal ones. Which now means there actually are more combinations that you can do. I actually like this change. Even though it's a power level down, it makes you think, right? It makes you actually consider different build choices instead of just being like, well, +1 spell skills is the best rune, so I will just equip 3 of them in my wand and move on with my life. Whereas now I cannot do that anymore. So I will have to actually use like % spell damage runes instead. Didn't they get huge buff to Hollow Palm due to base attack speed increase for unarmed? Wait, am I tripping? Is that not a nerf? Oh, wait. Where's the thing? I think I'm tripping. Yeah, so Hollow Palm, where is it? Yeah, so you do 1.65 per second instead of 1.4. So actually, it is a buff and a nerf. So I thought this was a nerf and a nerf, but it's actually a buff and a nerf. So it would be 1.65 times 1.4. But 1.4 times 2.2 is still just way better. Yeah, so actually the math I did earlier is still correct. It just, I was misunderstanding a little bit. But you are still gonna go from 3.08 to 2.31 if with a 3000 evasion chest. So this is still just like a 33% nerf. I was just misunderstanding it. But yeah, it's basically 33% worse still, which is a huge nerf overall. But yeah, it seems that the buff just does not matter enough. But I guess it matters a little bit because it's not as devastating. Like 1.4 times 1.4 would have been 1.96. You would have been less than half as much. That would just be tragic, I guess. Either way, passives that are gonna reduce movement speed penalty have had their values lowered. Ceiling is lower. I think you could get your attack speed per second so high that the game would start acting funny. Yeah, the ceiling is definitely lower. The floor is actually higher, because if you have no evasion on your chest, then this value doesn't matter, so you don't care. So the floor is higher, but the ceiling is much lower. Basically, that's just how it is, essentially. Less reduced movement speed penalty in the tree. I personally don't care for this. I pretty much never pick those up. I know some people live and die by them, but I personally just could not care less about movement speed penalty. I just tank it. I just like to make builds that are, you know, just strong, reliable. I don't care about clear speed. I just want to never die, always kill everything reliably and worry free. So for me, I don't really care personally. But if you want to clear maps very fast, then this change does make it harder to do so, because you will get a higher penalty than you would before on your movement speed while using skills. So yeah, it is what it is. It's basically just a nerf to movement speed. 3 new attack area of effect classes to the monk. Okay, cool, thumbs up. Projectile speed clusters. Cool, thumbs up. Bow cluster and modify the projectile cluster in the ranger section of the tree. Still just cool, thumbs up for now. Just more notables, I like that. I think more notables is always more fun because it makes build choices and build diversity just pop off more, and I really like making builds and making them cool, so thumbs up for me, I approve. Same for this and this. Grand Tribute from the Heart of the Well unique. This does not matter, I don't think. I think this is irrelevant. Small nodes, more remnant pickup range. Thumbs up, I guess. I don't think it matters that much. Small nodes on ascendancies that grant remnant pickup range. Okay, I guess they want more remnant pickup range. Thumbs up, I guess. I don't think it matters, but sure. Invigorating Grandeur and Everlasting Glory now grants more presence. Okay, thumbs up. Pure Power now grants 10% more maximum lightning damage. Wait, what? Isn't that... Am I tripping? So you have Wildstorm, which is 15% more maximum lightning damage. This is then gonna be 10% more lightning damage. So isn't Pure Power just a direct downgrade to Wildstorm now? That's a little stupid. Like, what were they thinking? Oh wait, Wildstorm gets nerfed, of course. Alright, well, that makes sense. Wildstorm is changed, so it's... I guess I was wrong. It's not a direct downgrade, but it's a direct downgrade to previous Wildstorm. So now you will instead gain 4% gain as lightning, cold, and 10 dex. I'm pretty sure that's worse. It's not directly worse, but it's worse. For the most part, at least. Because gain as X is usually not as good as more max damage. It's also just a lower value, so yeah. It's also just hybrid cold and lightning, whereas the minor passives are all lightning, so you kind of have some anti-synergy. So yeah, it's just worse, pretty much. I guess that happens. I mean, just a nerf. It's not a huge one, but it is a nerf. Tandem Assault has been renamed. Okay, thumbs up. Change the stats on several small passive tree nodes. Companion cluster passive skills no longer grant both companion and increase damage while your companion is in your presence. So for those who don't know, this nerf is because this node right here makes it so that while you have your companion in your presence, you just get these nodes, and they're essentially 22% more damage for just you, because you don't care about your companion. Realistically, for min-maxed builds, you just don't care, because it's just not good enough still. But for like early game, League starter builds, this is incredibly powerful to get small nodes that are 22% damage each. So this is a nerf to League starters more than anything, I would say. One less engine for stat stackers too with pure power change. Yeah, that's true. Stat stacking actually gets a hit here because pure power is one of the main things stat stackers do other than jack of all trades on the tree. So big nerf to stat stackers. Gem changes. Crescendo is an int gem. Okay. Charge is an int gem. Yep. Thumbs up to all of these. These are essentially just irrelevant for the most part. Font of Rage is gone. Ricochet 3 is gone. I don't think anyone really cares about these. I might be wrong, but I never really saw any use case for these myself. Inevitable Critical now has multiple levels, I guess, because it's now Inexorable Critical 1. Wall drop lineage gems are now less common. Okay, so essentially that means you will get more of the rare ones and less of the common ones. I think that's a good change. Honestly, thumbs up. Not much else to say about it. So here's a big line of text. This is a very, very big line of text because Atalu's Bloodletting is probably the best support gem in the game. At least currently. And it is being nerfed to grant 2% extra physical damage per 20 life cost. Up to 40%. And it no longer has a cost multiplier. So essentially, this gem now says your skill gains 40% of damage as physical instead of 3000%. This is a colossal nerf and it pretty much nukes the life stacking builds. So yeah, goodbye life stacking pretty much. GG. I guess we're finding the next thing. Zoph's Pyre, 40% is... Oh, well, these are also just damage as X is 40% now instead of 20. So, yeah. Atalu's Bloodletting is actually just in shambles. Actually basically deleted from the game. Like, why would you play this when you have these now? And also just this. This is also just damage just physical. Like, why? Einhard's Beastrite. Skills from killing blows from supported strike skills against rare monster grant 2 of the modifiers for 5 minutes. Headhunter enjoyers? Question mark? I don't think it matters too much, but that's cool. Xeroc's Spell Echo now grants supported spells echo 3 times instead of 2. That's nice. I still think that this is just really ass because it doesn't work for any spell that has a natural cooldown, which is most of the spells you want to use it on. So I still don't think it's very good, but it's better. So thumbs up, I guess. Uruk's Smelting, fully armor breaking causes targets to permanently take 5% more damage. Up to 20%. So instead of 2%, it's now 5%. That's irrelevant. Relentless Propulsion, 75% instead of 50. Still think that's irrelevant, but thumbs up. Ant's Citadel no longer has support skills have 30% less AoE or less damage. That might be relevant. Do we have an Ant Citadel? So currently, this says that walls from support skills are created along a fissure instead, and it will no longer have less AoE or damage. Actually, wait, this is just wall. This is a skills that create walls. Wait, that's still bad, actually. Okay, what am I talking? That's still bad, but it's cool that they buffed it, I guess. Some nice buffs across the board, except Rigwall. Yeah, seems like some nice buffs across the board is correct, except for also just Atalu's Bloodletting getting nuked. Takr's Revenge. Minions now die 20 seconds instead of 10 after their life is reduced to 0. And they also gain 40% increased attack speed instead of 20. That's big. Just really good buff. Thumbs up. Rigwald's 30% increased attack speed instead of 20% more. That is a buff and a nerf. So 30% increased means that you will get 30% more if you have no other multipliers to it. If you have other multipliers to it, 20% more will multiply the multipliers and it will go nuclear. So this is essentially just a nerf because you will not be using this if you're not using other sources of percent increased attack speed. So it's a buff for league starting, I guess, but for min-maxing, this is just a nerf. Ratha's Assault. Supporter skills load 5 bolts when you dodge, previously 3. Supporter skills load 4 additional bolts, previously 3. Now has support skills have 20% increased attack speed. I guess that's cool. Arjune's medal, 100% chance to load a bolt on dealing a killing blow with supporter skill. Previously 35%. Wasn't this already really good? So guys, this is a 368 divine lineage gem. And it's getting buffed by almost 3 times over. Now, realistically speaking, even at just 35%, this will always trigger, so I don't think this really makes a difference. But it's cool, you know? Because now you will not be able to say that you just got unlucky, because it will just reload anyway. Speaking of which, let's actually look at mirror prices. Holy shit, this went up a lot. Yeah, it's been a long time since I logged into the game, guys. And yeah, lock prices and mirror prices have just gone nuclear, it seems. Jesus Christ. Chaos Madness. Supporter skills deal 20% less damage instead of 14. Still bad, but thumbs up. Totems granted by Town Host Tending now have 25% more life instead of 15. The explosion is gonna deal double the damage. Cool. I don't think that matters, but thumbs up. 20% less curse effect instead of 25 from a Cheers Allure. I don't think that matters. Maximum critical hit chance with support skills is 50%. No longer grants support skills become usable after you have moved 20 meters. Am I blind? Isn't this just bad? I guess that's just bad. Okay, well, cool. We move on. You want to try a crossbow machine gun bleed with a new Crimson Assault? Yeah? Honestly, bleed seems like it will be really exciting to try with the new Crimson Assault. Like, straight up. This is such a big change to give it 50% more magnitude. I don't know if crossbow is going to be the optimal way to do bleed, but it's certainly looking like it will be a fun thing to do. I also might just try crossbow myself. I've never played crossbow, so I'm looking forward to maybe trying it, potentially. Moving on though. Kurtga's Leash. Unholy Might is now 15 instead of 5 seconds. And yeah. Thumbs up. I don't think it matters, but cool. Supporter skills deal 8% more damage, up to 40% with each potion. Thumbs up. Takati's Iron now has poison for support skills, deal damage 2% faster per rage. Still thumbs up, but just doesn't matter, I don't think. A lot of these seem like they're just mostly irrelevant, but that's, I mean, someone's got to look through all of these and just, you know, figure that out. So I guess that's what I'm doing, basically. 25% chance to gain a power charge when expanding combo with supporter skills. Previously 10%. I don't think that matters, again, because it's the same reasoning as Arjune's medal. You just hit so much that the chance will eventually proc anyway, and you don't care, so yeah. Nova projectiles no longer causes support skills to gain 4 additional projectiles. Wait, what? Oh. Oh, damn. Wait, guys, we found a change that matters. Nova projectiles pretty much nuked. There is now Nova projectiles 2, which makes support skills gain 6 additional projectiles and do even less damage. But they have a cooldown. So actually this is just, yeah, Nova projectiles gets the axe. GG. No more bow lightning arrow with just hitting the entire screen anymore, I guess. Piety's Mercy renamed to Dominus Grasp. Cool. Chain 1 no longer grants support skills chain 100% more times. That's actually a really big nerf. Chain Gem kinda getting the axe. Chain 2 Gem also kinda getting the axe. It changed +2 instead of +1 and 100% more, so it's just a direct nerf. And Chain 1 is just complete ass now. Chain 3 is now +2 and... Wait, what? It's only chain +2 times. Okay, well, damn, chain gems are getting the axe. Gotta love when they just drop 10 to 15 second cooldown axe like with Fire Blast and Hex Blast. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, chain gems seem to be out of service for next league. These seem very, very bad now. So no more chain, essence drain, contagion to level up for league start, I guess. And also no more chain for endgame, or unless something changes, I guess. Chain Jess, haha, got him. God, I'm so smart, dude. I'm so fucking funny. Anyway, Stormfire. Enemies take a percentage of ignite damage as lightning damage. That could make some degen meme build, I guess. But I don't see it currently, so thumbs up. Living Lightning. Same amount of damage for each hit in the chain. I don't think that makes a big difference, but that's cool. Same for this. Enraged Warcry and Rage Forged. We saw earlier that this will just consume 10 rage and that's it, so I guess that happens. Upheaval and Branching Fissure. No longer restricted to melee attacks. Oh, guys. Guys, this is actually big. Wait, it's only create fissures. I guess that could still matter. This probably actually really matters for Druid, potentially. This might be a big deal. Because you can actually use this on any attack now that creates fissures. So, that's very cool, actually. I'll take that. Impact Shockwave now actually makes aftershocks, allowing interaction with aftershock specific area and damage modifiers. Huh. I think the main thing that matters is that it can support non-strike attacks. I don't think this line of text matters, so yeah. Skill changes. No more cocaine ants. Frozen mandibles will no longer be bound as a spectre or tamed beast. Personally, I don't think this matters that much, because the best minion is the powered zealots. But I know there are people who really enjoy the ants and think that they're amazing. But the ants are just not as good as the zealots. Like, that's the reality that we're living in. So ultimately, for optimal minion builds, this doesn't matter. But the ant enjoyers are in shambles. Summon spectre variants of certain monsters have been buffed. Further details have been adjusted and will be posted separately prior to release. Oh god. I'm not looking forward to reading like 100 pages of which spectre is gonna be optimal now. But that's the reality we're living in, right? So pawn skill movement adjusted to reduce cases in which the player successfully uses a skill but fails to hit the enemy after dashing. Alright, cool. Thumbs up. Ice fragments now only hit each enemy once. So it's shotgun protection. Thumbs up, I guess. Per target hit limits on Firestorm, Ice Storm, and Rain of Arrows are displayed. Alright, cool. Not really a gameplay change, just visual clarity, so that's cool. Whirlwinds now take on elements from overlapping air elemental grounds for 8 seconds instead of 4. Thumbs up. These skills now have the wind type. I guess that's cool. that probably matters for some things, I guess. Following skills of having modifiable limits. Yeah, these can now be supported by overabundance, and that might matter. Thumbs up. Acidic concoction can no longer consume poison or trigger acidic burst. Sure. Invocation skills now have 0.2 second cooldowns. So, this is a huge nerf. Why is this a huge nerf? I'll tell you all why. This is a huge nerf because Spellslinger exists. This is an invocation skill. So essentially, Spellslinger now has a hard cooldown of 0.2 seconds. You can no longer blink, spark, blink, spark, blink, spark, blink, spark, and just clear everything for 0 cost and no cooldown. How much this matters is debatable, but it is a nerf. It is a very relevant nerf, especially for builds that try to speedrun Sekimas, which is the main thing I think this is targeted towards. Autobomber nerf? Yes, exactly. This is a nerf to... Where is it? So for those of you who don't know, there is a YouTuber slash guy I know called Glitched. He runs Sekimas. He's trying to speedrun it. He plays Autobomber. And his entire build is pretty much blink, spark, blink, spark, blink, spark, clear everything. Because it's just the fastest thing to do to speedrun this Sekimas trial. So for him, this makes the speedrunning much harder. Well, not much harder, but it does become slower because it's just gonna be hard capped with a cooldown, so yeah. Rip Glitched? Not really, I mean, there could be things that make the run still faster, but for now, this is a nerf pretty much seemingly targeted towards him. They removed Speed Relics mod. Oh shit, if they did that, that would make the Sekimas runs way harder to get that fast. Damn. But yeah, these are now different tiers of skill gems. That's cool. This now does more damage. This no longer has less attack speed. This has more shock magnitude. Actually, this has less shock magnitude, because this is now increased instead of more. So Arc just got nerfed a lot. Insane. Goodbye Arc, I guess. I mean, not really, but still, Arc is now just a lot worse. Arctic Armor now does less damage, but more freeze and chill buildup. I guess that's a buff. Because the reason you use it is to become tankier, and this does help with that, so I guess that happens. Thumbs up, I guess. Armor Breaker. This is not a notable, this is just a skill called Armor Breaker for Mace. Okay, I guess it's a buff, but it's very minor. So yeah, we pass on it. Attrition now reserves 30 instead of 60 spirit. Thumbs up. This skill is kind of complete garbage, so good thing it got buffed. This is the one that says for every second you stand in the presence of a rare or unique, you deal more damage to it. So yeah. Ball Lightning. Buffed. Still buffed. Nerfed Shock Chance. Buffed damage. More buffed damage. basically just a ton of buff damage. This skill now does way more damage, actually, but has way less chance to shock. I don't think that matters. I think the shock chance just doesn't matter because it's already high enough. So it's just more damage. I mean, that's just good. Huge buff. Thumbs up. Barrier, Invocation, and Cast on Minion Death now reserve 13 instead of 6 Spirit. Big. Thumbs up. Charge Regulation. You now get more skill speed while you have a Frenzy Charge. And you no longer grant skills... Wait, what? No longer grant... Oh, it's increased instead of more. Okay, that's just a nerf then. Yeah, that's just a nerf. Comet. Actually, I was excited for this because someone pinged me earlier in the Discord. And, you know, I was just casually playing Magic the Gathering, right? In the server. But then someone just was like pinging me here and telling me that, oh my god, Comet got buffed. That's so exciting. You should look at it. And I was like, oh shit. The reveal is here. So, before I see what Comet got buffed or how it got buffed, I'm gonna go grab some water because I've been talking for like an hour plus straight, so my throat is dry. So while I go grab some water, I will leave you guys with Jonathan and Mark, and yeah, I will be right back.
In the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do abyss crafting on waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that. In fact, we have removed instilling from waystones as well. This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content, but it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter. Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency. Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, so we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to waystones outside of the basic currency, because it adds too much micromanagement. But on that note, Fate of the Veil does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of many different random outcomes. Now, with regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying. Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly, so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey. Another big source of problems in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15. Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are...
Alright, I am back. I should probably put that there just for, I don't know, I guess it looks cool. So let me just leave that there. Wait, is this visible? Huh. I think that should be visible. Okay, so you think they really want players to play with infusions and remnants instead of hyper-focusing on buffing single element damage type. Yeah, I think they want... I think they also want that. But infusions and remnants are just a really bad mechanic right now. They need to massively change it. Like, they need to do something huge to make them actually good, right? Because, first of all, focusing on multiple elements just lowers your overall damage because you get less benefit from plus skill mods and percent damage mods that are not purely elemental. Second of all, you need to actually get the infusions. That's annoying as fuck. Like, having to path over and get them is just an annoying thing to do. So, as cool as it is, from a gameplay perspective, it's a lot of effort for not really much gain. But yeah, moving on. Comet. The fire-infused Comet now does almost double damage. Holy shit. Wow. It's actually just almost double damage, straight up. Having to pick up 1-up kills it. Yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel as well. Like, I don't want to pick up shit on the ground when I'm already mapping and picking up shit on the ground. Like, I want to pick up the loot, not infusions. But yeah. Fire-infused Comet literally does almost double damage now. That's huge. Big. Very thumbs up. I love the change. Detonating arrow. Thumbs up. It's buffed. YouTube sound volume is much louder than microphone sound. Please lower YouTube volume a bit. I mean when you play YouTube on Steam. Oh, I see. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll keep that in mind for next time. I put a video up. The audio in general is like something I have not really figured out myself. I'm still trying to actually make it sound good. But every time I post a video, I always see comments memeing on the audio. But yeah, I mean, I keep trying to improve it, but I'm not really knowledgeable in the audio field. So as much as I may try, it seems I have not figured it out yet. But you know, eventually we'll get there, right? Like that's how it is. Eventually, we will get there. Someday, somehow, some way. But yeah. Speaking of that, can you guys actually hear me okay? Like, is the sound good when I speak, or is it like too low, too high, question mark? But yeah. Elemental Conflux. 60 spirit instead of 100. That's pretty good. I really like Conflux. Actually, I hate Conflux, but I like the damage it gives, so I approve of this change. It's okay. Your voice is nice and clear. Well, that's good to know. Halfway there, you know, we're getting there. One must imagine crisp, clear audio quality. That's how you roll up the boulder up the hill, or something like that. Elemental Invocation. More energy gain. That's cool. Still bad, IMO, but cool. Buff to Electrocuting Arrow. Sweet. Buff to Escape Shot. These don't seem like super big buffs. They seem like buffs that get fizzled out by the fact that they're just not super good, I would say. But if you want to use these skills, they are better. Eye of Winter travels a much longer distance and has less projectile speed. Cooldown is 10 seconds. I would say that for league starting, this actually does matter, because this is a really good skill to use in early maps. So, I guess that's cool. It might matter, potentially, but seems like just a general irrelevant change that is just thumbs up, good, nothing burger-ish. But yeah, it happens. Eye of Winter is now better. Fangs of Frost. Same reasoning here. I don't think it really matters. Just a small buff to damage and freeze buildup. Actually, less freeze buildup, but damage means more freeze buildup. So yeah. Actually, wait. Am I blind? It has more freeze buildup. The explosion has less. Okay, so overall it's more. It's not more damage. It's more Freeze buildup, okay. Flame Blast, cooldown is now 10. Amazing. Frag rounds. Bolts now pierce 2 targets, scaling up to 5. Previously it was 2 at all levels. More proj speed. Cool. Freezing Mark, no more explosion. Freezing the target now grants a buff that grants extra damage as cold. That's a really big buff, actually. Unironically. Because you use the mark skills on bosses pretty much exclusively. So you don't care about the explosion part of like freezing and voltaic mark. So having it actually do something when you mark the big bad thing is actually really good. So this is a really good, actually relevant change, I would say. For cold builds, this matters a lot. Thumbs up. Frostbolt, more magnitude of chill. No longer chills enemies as though dealing more damage. I guess that's pretty much irrelevant because it's buff nerf and they seem to equal each other out, so I guess that happens. Lightning infused Frost Wall now deals more damage and has magnitude of chill equal inflicted as freeze buildup. Okay. I mean, it's just a buff that does nothing for the most part. Frozen Locus now no longer deals 80% less damage if destroyed within 0.5 seconds by something other than you. It no longer makes chilled ground. The ice crystal has no collision. It can be used with overabundance. They no longer have a hidden less damage taken from allies. They instead have a hidden more damage taken from monsters. Greatly increased life at later levels. This is a difficult change to unpack, but overall, this is just a buff that makes it explode for way more damage. Because what you do is, you pump its life with effects that say Ice Crystal life percent, and then you explode it onto shit, and it does damage, because it does damage based on its max life, like the crystal life. So because it has more life, and effectively that's what this change is, so that, you know, it will take more damage from monsters instead of less from allies. So basically, this just makes it do way more damage. So that's cool. Melee cold builds could care about this a lot, potentially, if you're playing quarterstaff, so that's cool. Gathering Storm. Perfect timing window has been increased. Higher dash range. Shockwave has max 20 shockwaves per use. And 28 total instead of 20 or instead of 10 with quality. More shockwaves, more range. Easier to execute. That's basically it. It's a nice buff, but I don't think it makes a difference for like being usable in endgame. Ghost Dance. 3 Ghost Shrouds at all gem levels. So that's a nerf. You also gain them less frequently. Yeah, that's just a straight up nerf. But Ghost Dance was really good, so I guess that's fine. It does make surviving harder with builds that wanted to use it, but it is what it is. Glacial Cascade now has more fizz conversion to cold. Okay. That's nice. Glacial Lance. More damage. More damage. More build-up. More conversion. That's pretty much it. Just cool buff, I guess. Hailstorm Rounds. Same thing here. Herald of Thunder. This is just a nerf. but not a big one. This is basically irrelevant, I guess. Hex Blast now has a max of 10 explosions per cast out of 3. We actually really care about this, potentially, because Hex Blast explodes once per curse, right? So if you have somehow got 10 curses on one enemy, you will get 10 explosions, which is way more than 3. I don't know how the fuck you're gonna get 10 curses on one enemy, but if there's some way to do it, this could be huge. Ice Nova. More range. More damage. And it's slower to cast. Huh. I guess that happens. It's a bit interesting to unpack this because I'm trying to think, what is the thought process here, right? So Ice Nova now has more range and more damage, but it's very marginally more damage. But also the cold infused version of it, which is supposed to be better, now has just got a longer cast time. And I don't really understand why, but I guess that just happens. This is actually kind of a nerf, if anything. I guess it's a buff if you never use the cold infused version, but if you use it, it's pretty much a nerf. You wonder if Glacial Lance is now good. You tried it against Lightning Lance and didn't really freeze enough to be great. Going back to it, essentially, this should freeze way more consistently because it doesn't only increase the buildup, it also has more damage. And damage is what magnitude of ailments usually scales off of. So the base magnitude is going to be higher because you deal more damage, and it will then get multiplied by the more freeze buildup, which is now higher. And it will also get multiplied by the more freeze buildup of the explosion. So it also has equal magnitude of chill inflicted as freeze. It also converts more physical into cold, so you are overall dealing more cold, which means more magnitude. So if the issue was you're not freezing enough with it, then this should actually make a big difference to you. Because it's more damage, more conversion, so more cold, and more buildup. So it will just very much just freeze way more often. That's essentially what this is. It also is just like slightly faster, so this might matter to you. But yeah. It could be good, potentially, unironically. It's just a lot of text here, but overall it's just a very big buff to this skill. It's only frenzy charged. Well, I mean, you gotta take what you can get, right? So, by the way, it's not only frenzy charged, because this is the part about frenzy charge. So this is the frenzy charge explosion, and this is the regular explosion. So this part is without a frenzy charge. It doesn't do more damage without a frenzy charge, but it does still have much more freeze buildup. And it does also have the conversion, so it still does make a difference, in theory. But yeah, personally, I don't think this makes much of a difference, but it could if you want to play Glacial Lance or some cold melee build or martial build. But yeah, Ice Shards. Cannot chain. And projectiles target the ground. Shards now have 400% more damage 2 seconds after arming. Alright. Cool buff, I guess. Bit of a buff nerf, but pretty much a buff. Ice shot. More conversion. Sweet. Cone angle increased. Potentially a nerf in a way, but cool. Either way, not super relevant. Thumbs up, I guess. Ice tipped arrows. Now last for 20 instead of 8 seconds. Empowered attacks gain 100% of fizz as cold. Oh no. 100% of fizz converted. Never mind. I was like, this is huge, but it's not. But it's just a cool buff, I guess. Incendiary shot. Now consumes 15 heat to gain 100% more ignite magnitude. This is where we might see those ignite magnitude nodes in the tree from earlier come into play. Incinerate now does additional damage per second, scaling up. I think this is useless. I think Incinerate is completely unplayable unless they do something gigantic to it, and this is not gigantic. So I will have to just pass on this and say, cool, it's buffed, let's move on. Killing Palm. Now grants a power charge if a callable enemy dies while you're dashing to them. This basically means that this will work even if you don't kill them with it, which is essentially just a quality of life buff, which is cool. Thumbs up. Lightning Arrow. Lots of talks about this skill. No longer bypasses the charge up time on Lightning Rod's burst. It's over, guys. It's the Fab Gunning is Jover. So instead, the burst now can occur only once every 0.1 seconds. And the projectile converts 80% of damage to lightning instead of 40. Whereas the beam does 80... Wait, the beam does 100 instead of 80. So this now does more damage, but it cannot bypass the lightning rod hard cooldown of 0.1. So it's more damage, but way less DPS. Or rather, it's more DPS, but it's way less damage on demand, essentially. Why this matters is, let me show you my bow build. Some of you have probably already seen this, but this is what a bow build looks like right now. This is, in case for those who missed it, this is one lightning arrow usage. I used lightning arrow once there. Here I'm gonna use it like twice. And as you see, you only hit it and it just explodes, it goes ballistic, it just triggers itself, triggers lightning rod, it goes nuclear. But now there's a hard cap of 0.1 seconds per trigger, so that will not happen anymore. It's just a very big nerf to lightning rod essentially. That's just what it means. So lightning arrow just indirectly got nerfed because it just indirectly nerfed lightning rod by changing it. I didn't really word it in the best way possible, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. Lightning rod also got directly nerfed. The max cap of 20 rods is now 10. So the effective damage of this skill is completely halved. So yeah, that's just way weaker now. Lightning Conduit. Actually nerfed. What the hell? Oh. Huh. Lightning Conduit is actually way worse now. I don't think that this skill was that amazing before, but now it's just much worse. This was like the payoff for playing an arc build previously, but I mean, it still is, but it's just gonna be weaker. Lightning Warp. Explosion is now 3 instead of 4 meters, that's a nerf. Shock Round is now 8 instead of 10. If used on an enemy that is not on the call threshold, it will apply a debuff that will cause its normal warping behavior automatically if the enemy falls under the call threshold. So this is a nerf and a quality of life buff. I love quality of life buffs, so I approve of this, honestly. And also I don't think the nerf is very big. It's like a pretty minor nerf, so whatever. Thumbs up from me. Lingering illusion. Illusions now linger for 3 seconds instead of 1.2. This is kind of irrelevant, I feel. Basically another instance of them trying to force the infusion playstyle, I think. Living Bomb. More damage. Thumbs up. Magnetic Salvo. 100% conversion instead of 40. Thumbs up. Mana Tempest. Oh, this actually is a pretty relevant change. You get the effects lingering for 2 seconds after leaving the Tempest. This is actually a really big change for mana stackers, because you get the effects lasting even if you leave it. I actually think this is very relevant. Mana stacking cares so much for this that it genuinely might be the play next league for spellcasters. So, yeah, this one line of text actually matters a lot, unironically. It will still require other things like mana stacking support, but this is part of it. This is mana stacking support, and it's very big, in my opinion. Oil Grenade. Less cooldown. Perfect Strike. More damage. Permafrost Bolts. I guess that's a buff. Cool. Plasma Blast. It's a huge nerf to shock magnitude inflicted by it. I don't think it matters because I don't think shock magnitude is what you care with Plasma Blast. So big nerf in theory. In practice, I don't think it matters. Primal Strikes now has way more range and inflicts exposure. Yeah, big buff. Thumbs up. Spear players rejoice. Rain of Arrows only consumes 1 frenzy charge. Okay. Also does more damage. That's cool. Raise Zombie. Very big damage buff. I don't think it matters though. But thumbs up. Rapid Assault. More damage. Still kind of bad, but thumbs up. Reap. Ripping Staff, my beloved. As cool as that is, this change does not matter because Ripping Staff is pretty much just fucking ass. So cool, but not good enough. Raw Mount no longer increases your movement speed. Now has 100% reduced MS penalty from using skills while mounted. Wait a minute. This is actually a really big change. Damn, the bow players, the spear players are actually in shambles. Because now any source of reduced MS penalty you get does not matter while you have the Rawa. So you also just no longer get any movement speed from it. You only get reduced penalty. I think effectively what this means is that you're gonna have more skill points to save on your tree and your gear, because you're not gonna be getting runes for it. But you are gonna move much slower because you no longer get the movement speed from the Roa. So overall, this effectively means you'll have more space opened up for damage, but significantly less movement speed if you're playing Roa. So yeah. Yeah, that happens. Big nerf, actually, to Roa players. Sacrifice. This makes minions revive faster, because they revive less slowly than they did before. Cool buff, doesn't matter though. Thumbs up. Skeletal River. Wait. This apparently... Oh, this is a bug fix, actually. So they already had this text, but it wasn't working. Alright. So yeah, bug fix. But also technically a buff. So, yeah, very good. Very cool. Thumbs up. Short Scavenger. Buff duration is now 3 seconds. Cool. Shattering Palm. Now causes an explosion if the target dies while you're dashing to them. I would have to see that to see what it looks like. It could be huge, it could be small, it could be a nothing burger. So, for now, that sounds cool. Thumbs up, let's pass. Shock Chain Arrow. Way more conversion. No longer releases secondary beams. Instead, the projectile now consumes shock to create a chaining secondary projectile, which creates a lightning rod in the ground. This secondary projectile does not consume shock on targets hit. This actually might matter. This might be potentially a new mapping skill of, or like, actually no, it's not a new mapping skill. This is potentially you use this in combination with lightning arrow to clear maps. Potentially. Practically, I'm not sure, but this does sound like it's a really good mapping skill in tandem with something like lightning arrow to burst open the rods that you drop from it. But yeah, seems cool. Shield Charge, more damage. Cascade, more damage against immobilized enemies. Okay, cool. Quality of it actually got nerfed, but the text itself just makes it way more, so like, sure. It's basically just the direct buff. Snipe. Icy Blast now does way more damage. No more heavy blast and heavy stun interaction. I don't really like that, to be honest, because the ice part of it was never that big. The main thing you wanted is the heavy stun interaction, I feel. To be fair, this doesn't really matter that much because Snipe is just not that good. But maybe one day it will become the premier bossing skill. We can hope, at least. I think Snipe is really cool, so I would think it would be really cool if it did. But for now, it's just a little buff. Soul Offering. More duration. Cool. Spark. Spark now does more damage when cold infused. It also... it does more damage when cold infused. That's it. Buff to Spark. Actually, it's kind of insane to see. This is like the best mapping skill for like 3 leagues in a row. It's only gotten buffed. Well, actually, it's gotten pretty fucking nerfed. But now it's just the direct buff. Kind of crazy. The buff here doesn't really matter, to be fair, because you never cold infuse it anyway. But if you do, it's more damage, so that's cool. Spear Solaris. The laser beam from the sky now generates 1 glory when you inflict freeze, shock, or ignite on an enemy. That could make it usable while mapping, so that's cool. Thumbs up. Spiral Volley, more damage. Staggering Palm. Huh. This is essentially a quality of life buff, I feel, because you dash to additional volley targets. You also get the buff if a primed enemy is stunned or killed when you're dashing to them, but they don't die to the hit itself. So yeah, quality of life. Thumbs up. Love to see it. Stormlance. When you empower it, it now lasts for longer. Cool. Stormcaller Arrow. More conversion. Does more shock magnitude essentially, because it does more damage, more shock based on dealing more damage. Okay, I'm wording it really badly, but yeah, it basically does more shock because it will shock enemies as though it deals more damage than it actually does. The bolt itself also has more conversion, so yeah. It's just more damage, more shock. That's cool. Sunder, attack speed buff. That's cool, but I miss the original Sunder and this is not even close to it, so I'm still sad. This does not replace it for me, and yeah, I'm just sad about Sunder. This doesn't make up for the last league's nerf. Supercharged Slam. Attack time override of 0.85, so it's just faster. That's cool. Temper Spell. More range. More range. More range. Well, more range, and quality of life, basically. Thunder's Leap. More shock chance. Toxic Domain. Now grants regen. I'm not really knowledgeable in the poison part of bow, so I don't really know what to say about this. This seems like a convoluted change that might be good and might be not. But it seems like a buff. I mean, it is a buff, but yeah, I don't know how big it is, to be honest, so I will not comment. Toxic Growth. More pustules. Fires less pustules. Wait. So, limit is 12. So, 50% more limit. Half as many pustules fired. And more attack speed. Vaulting Impact. When you inflict broken stance with it, now has a 60-second duration and removed after 10 hits. Previously, you could do any number of hits, but only for a short duration. The amount of pre-mitigated physical damage sold by broken stance is now 10% instead of 5. I mean, this is a big buff and a big nerf on a skill that I feel doesn't really see any real usage. Maybe it will now, but I don't think this matters. So that's cool, but pass. Vine Arrow. +1 limit to plants. Actually, +2 limit to plants, because it gains it at level 12 and 19. That's cool. More plants. Volcanic Fissure, more damage. Voltaic Grenade, 3 use instead of 2. Lower cooldown. Voltaic Mark. No longer makes the target susceptible to shock or cause an explosion. Oh, this is the same change to Freezing Mark, basically. You gain extra damage as lightning when you explode it. That's cool. I like that, actually. Thumbs up. Wave of Frost can now be used to cancel other actions, as opposed to just dodge rolling. I guess that's cool. Whirling Assault. Movement has been reworked to be more fluid. +1 second to total attack time instead of 1.4. +14 to melee range. +1% AoE per level. So this is actually a really big buff. So it's effectively 33% faster. It has more range and 20% more AoE at level 20. W for the Whirling Assault enjoyers, actually. Well, actually, it's not Whirling Strike, because it's not the spear one. This is the staff one, but still. It's a W, I would say. Wind Dancer, nerfed. Kind of expected, to be honest. It does like half damage now, so yeah. Unique item changes. Grand Spectrums now roll 6% to all ally resistance per socket at Grand Spectrum on the Sapphire variant, instead of 4. So when you have 3 of these, you will get 54% to all elemental resistances. That might be good enough. I don't think it is, but it might be. For some builds at least, it should be. So, good change. Thumbs up. The second was unique. Every second, inflict critical weakness to enemies in your presence. Instead of every once in 15. Okay, well, cool, but still bad. Mahu Soldier's Machination. So instead of 100% increased effect, it now has up to 333. With a VAR, this could go up to 400%. I don't think that this makes it good, but this makes it interesting. And it definitely makes it like the best in slot for some like niche meme build. I actually really like this change. I love increased effect of socketed items in general on items. I think this is great. Thumbs up. The Adorned 0 to 150% instead of 0 to 100. Oh my god. My fucking 100% Adorns are in shambles. Jesus Christ. GG to them. I actually love this change though. Like, I love the fact that it can now go to 150. That is way better than 100 for very obvious reasons. So yeah, I think that's awesome. Huge thumbs up. Asylum has more armor, yes. Does that matter? Let's actually check. So, on a max roll, it has 253. I don't think that matters, like, at all. That's irrelevant, pretty much. Pretty much same for Perfidy. These are the Delirium armor uniques. Yeah, this just straight up doesn't matter, because they're bad, essentially. So this doesn't change anything. Unique Flask, Melting Maelstrom. Every 3 seconds during effect, you deal 100% of mana spent in those seconds as chaos damage to enemies within 3 meters, instead of 50%. I still don't think that's good. I don't think it's as good as it was originally, so I think this is cool, but not enough. So yeah, pretty much that's the thoughts. Struggle Scream can have 3 additional instill modifiers instead of 2. For those who don't know, this amulet can be instilled 3 times total. With this change, it will be 4 times total. I think that's cool. I don't think it competes with +3 crafted amulets, let alone +4 sanctified amulets, but I think it's a cool change and I think the item is very cool. I just wish they would buff it even more than this, because it's really cool, but just not good enough. Zoph's Blood is now 25% of 10 and grants way more fire resistance. Same for Choir of the Storm and the Pandemonius. Wait, what the hell is that? Huh. Oh, this is another Jash drop, isn't it? That's very bad, but I mean, it's a cool buff. The only buff that might matter here is Choir, maybe Zophs. But I don't think these really matter. I think these are like mostly league starting items. Controlled meta no longer reduces chaos res. That's a nice change, I guess. Thumbs up. I like this item, so I think it's also just good. So honestly, this is good. It's just straight up a good change. Big buff. I'll take it. Thumbs up. Svalin now can it make you take 0% of block damage from hits. So the downside in theory with a perfect roll doesn't exist. That's actually really nice. Svalin might be good. It also has more armor. Keeper of the Ark. Doesn't matter? Doesn't matter. Almost Resolve. The guard is now 20 seconds instead of 10. Huge. Not huge, but cool buff. Thumbs up. Warrior. This buff doesn't really matter. Solus also doesn't matter. Like, they're increasing the armor. Like, they're increasing the freaking armor and evasion and ES values on all these pinnacle uniques. That, like, the effect is so bad, it doesn't matter what the armor values are. The rare items will always have way higher max armor, like defense values on them, right? So I don't know why they're not just increasing the effect or reworking the effect to make it an actually desirable effect that you want to have on your build, instead of just giving it more of a stat brick on top of it, which will just never outweigh the rare item anyway. So yeah, pretty much every line of text here is completely relevant, it seems, because I mean, yeah, they have more ES armor evasion, but does it matter? No, not really. I guess this line is potentially different because you can now socket 2 copies instead of 1, but I mean, you're not trading your helmet slot for that. That's just not worth it. Defiance got buffed. That's nice. Helps it compete with the +4 craft amulets. Lots of Zesh loot got buffed. Lineage gems he drops 2 control meta, and if the catalyzing omen after removing homework, Zesh might be good to entry farm. I actually agree with you. I think Zest is probably the best pinnacle to farm early on, because even if the uniques are not amazing after like you min-max your build, they are really fucking good league starting items. Like Hoa, Choir, they are so fucking good when you don't have like insanely crafted items. So yeah, it might just be the best place to start and farm at. But honestly, for straight up farming at league start, I'm mostly looking at this like incursion temple
Allowing
thingy
you
that
to
they
craft
made.
your own dungeon
Like
to
the new
explore.
league mechanic for the dungeon shit.
Place
It
paths
looks
to
super
link
fun
up the
and
dungeon.
really interesting.
And
I'm
place
like,
rooms beside them
I'm
full
super
of
into
precious
this
loot.
myself.
After you are happy,
I don't know if it will be good to farm it, but I'm very excited to try it out. Wrathbith, 3% instead of 5 in crit chance. This is a very big nerf, but I don't think it's that big of a nerf. Like, it's, yeah, sure, it's a big nerf, but it doesn't kill the item. So honestly, I'm fine with this. Genuinely, like, I think Wrathbith was insanely overtuned. So the fact that the item is still playable and is still good, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't see an issue with nerfing an overtuned item, but yeah, they didn't make it unplayable, so yeah, I'm chill with this. Hammer of Faith, more damage. Nobody cares. The only reason you use this item is to get XP Shrine buff. Lion Eyes now makes barrageable attacks repeat twice instead of once. Cool, don't think it matters. Same for this. Same for this. Oh wait, actually, does this matter? Let's take a look at this item. So, you get percent int, and you deal percent more damage per int. So, if you max roll this, it will effectively have the normal amount of plus skills, which is 7. You will also have 10% int. Oh wait, they kind of lowered the upside. I mean, I guess it inflicts more exposure, but I don't really see this being good, honestly. I think it's still just poo. Maybe a good support item. Actually, yeah, this is probably just a support item, genuinely, because like, it's just tons of exposure, and I don't think you care about the other parts of the text, so if you're just supporting, it is effectively just high exposure. But if you're playing solo and wanting to do damage, it's still pretty ass, I would say. The Covenant. Skills gain a base life cost equal to 100% of base mana cost. Alright. So this basically just makes you a blood mage. Alright, that's cool. Silks now just grants more ES, I guess. Alright. Cloak of Defiance, doesn't matter. Voltaxic Rift, more damage. I think this item is actually amazing for league starting. So I think this just makes that the case even more, pretty much. Staves will only be for swap debuff, unfortunately, I think. Yeah, pretty much. They showed a unique staff in the trailer, but I do think that it is in fact just really ass. I think staffs really just need some insane buff or mechanical upgrade or just an insane staff to exist in order to be playable. Because right now, staffs are just not it. Staffs are also becoming worse next patch because you will only have one Hedge Witch rune. So instead of +4 spell skill staff, you will have a +1 with 3 other bad runes. So yeah. Brass Dome, doesn't matter. Maligr's Virtuosity. What the hell? I guess... Sure, this is actually just a nerf, but I don't think the item is very good, so whatever. Coming Calamity. Cool buff, actually. This item is pretty solid, especially for early league. Ghost Wraith. They're buffing this after nerfing it, but the buff is still way lower than the original, so probably still bad. Cloak of Flame. More yes, doesn't matter. Widow's Reign. Doesn't matter. Lightning Coil. This does make the the armor stackables tankier. That actually, like the immortal armor stackers are happy about this, but aside from that, I don't think it matters because it already was good enough. So I don't even know what this item is, to be honest. The Surrender. Pretty much no change here. Same here. Actually, wait. What is this? Oh, I see. Life Leech can overflow. This could be potentially good league start item, I guess, but that's about it. Sacrosanctum got buffed. That's cool. Might matter for like demon form style builds, potentially. Sierra Inheritance. Doesn't matter. Do you know what influences the level of implicit spell on unique items? I honestly don't really know. I think it's just area level and you hope to get lucky. Because, for example, if you see a level 20 skill on a spellcaster item, it's level 90. It requires level 90. So the thing is, this can happen even if the item is item level 81, which is not even the max item level. So I'm inclined to believe that the thing that matters is area level, because I don't think there's any... Let's actually check. If the item level is 80, is there any Spellslinger level 20? Okay, they do exist. Oh wait, hold on. Max 80. They do exist, but I mean they are rare, actually. What about 79? They do not exist. So I'm inclined to believe that it's area level, because if we do 81 minimum, we actually get more results. Yeah, so I think area level means that the chances of higher skill becomes higher, or at least makes it show up, but I don't directly know the correlation. Like, I don't know the exact interaction, but I just think that there is some correlation between them, essentially. I think that's just the correct answer here. But the actual math behind it on what area level needs to be or what exactly you need or how to drop it, I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I kind of wish I knew, but I just don't. So, no worries, man. Morio Invictus, Grand Regalia. All versions of Grand Regalia seem to have been buffed. That's cool. Thumbs up. It really needed the buff, so I'm not complaining. I'll take that. Here is Ire. This is actually just a buff. Instead of flat cold, you get gain as cold and more freeze duration instead of chill duration. Queen of the Forest now has 25% base MS and 1% per 600 instead of 800. But it's capped at 50%. So they had us in the first half. But yeah, they had us in the first half. This is still bad, sadly. In fact, it's actually probably worse than before, because it's now just capped. You can't break this anymore. Thunderfist. 15% base crit. 40% more damage. Wow. That's huge, isn't it? Like, that's just a ton more damage, straight up. Like, you basically just got 10% base crit and 40% more damage. That's just good. Jesus, okay, well, I guess that's why they nerfed Holopalm. Adonia's Ego, 50% instead of 8. Doesn't matter. Lightning Coil, doesn't matter. Perfidy, doesn't matter. Existing items can be made worse with a Divine Orb. That's funny. Yep, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Skin of the Loyal. Elemental threshold is uncapped by... Oh, increased by uncapped chaos resistance. Oh, I see. This is actually just bad, isn't it? Because it now increases by uncapped stats rather than overcapped. And it's way easier and better to overcap rather than undercap. Because, for example, you can go 200% overcap and just build your build around that. But if you go 10% res to undercap it for this, not only do you get less of a reward for it, but you're also just gonna die because you have no resistances. So yeah, that's just a fucking nerf. I mean, the intent is a buff, I feel, but that's just bad. Choir of the Storm now has 5 uses. That is actually really cool. This is a really nice quality of life change. I like that. I don't think it's better than like a insane crafted amulet, but it's just very good. Allroth's Torment Club. It now lasts for 20 instead of 6 seconds. Doesn't matter. Unborn Lich. This is the machine gun stuff. It has 4 mods instead of 3. Doesn't matter. Grip of Kulamak. Apparently enough changes for us to just see something that says its ranges have been changed. So, okay, cool, thumbs up. So here's the big change. This is the Techro Jewel. Sacrifice of Blood. Currently, it looks like this. Regen 1 life per 8 spent in the past 8 seconds. 50% more cost of skills. Now it will be 1 life per 16 spent in the past 4 seconds. Jesus, that's so much worse. That's like 4 times worse than before. They doubled the threshold for you to gain regen, and they halved the duration. It also now only has 20% life cost instead of 50, but I mean, that's a fucking downgrade as well. Like, you want more cost when you're using this, so... God, that's so bad, actually. Item changes. Rune sockets renamed to augment sockets. Cool. Non-dual items renamed from socketables to augments. Talismans renamed to idols. Cool. Alright. So this is what we went over a bit earlier. Most of the big runes are limited to 1. +1 spell skills, 5% gain, 5% movement speed, XP, exposure effect, +1 arrow, cast speed, attack speed. These are all now limited to 1. So yeah, this is a very big change. You will now have to use different runes and soul cores in your items. Like, you cannot just put the best one in every time because you will have it limited to 1. So I think this matters a lot, actually. This will make build decisions much more interesting. I like the change, even though it's a nerf. The modifiers for bow attacks fire X additional arrows on bows have been disabled. Wow. Wait. Oh. New modifier added to bows. Plus X% surpassing chance to fire an additional arrow. So, what this essentially does is nothing. Because after you get the 200%, that's just that is just +2 arrows. I guess there is some downside and upside, like if you're below 200 it's not always 2, and if you're above 200 it can be 3, but effectively I don't think this matters that much. But it's a change. It's definitely different, but effectively it shouldn't be that much different. Spell damage, specific damage type using an extra elemental damage. Modern stabs are now 33% stronger on average. Alright, that's cool. Higher roll ranges on those mods. Same for these. Same for these. Foka can no longer roll the top 2 tiers of spell damage and specific damage modifiers. Oh. Wait, does that mean that you want like tier 3 spell damage and tier 1 something else? Isn't that kind of stupid? Like, I don't really understand this change. Like, why would they do this? So, if you want the optimal focus now, you will need a tier 3 spell damage focus, so you can get your other % damage type. I don't get it. Like, why would you want that? That's just weird and kind of stupid, honestly. So, maybe I'm misunderstanding this change, but from looking at it, from just reading this line, it seems kind of bad. In before 25 weight for tier 1. Well, it's not as bad as Merciless, but I mean, actually Merciless is 25, so yeah, that would suck. To be fair, the optimal bow mods already don't include this, so I wouldn't mind it too much. But yeah, maybe we got a 25 weight. That would be funny. Jesus, I hate having to find Merciless, dude. 25 weight mods are so insane. But yeah, currently I don't think this is optimal already, so I don't see why you would want it in your item next league, but maybe there will be a reason. Actually, the reason could be that the +1 arrow rune is limited to 1. That could be a good reason, actually. Unironically. Depends, though. More ES and focuses. Buff to this maze base. Buff to this maze base, and that maze base, and all of these maze bases, I guess. Buff to these spear bases. I don't really see the point of this change. I guess this makes campaign harder. +1 spell skill levels now have a level requirement of 10 instead of 5. Alright. Same for most of these. Perfect Essence of Battle now grants +3 to level of attack skills instead of 4. Oh, that's so bad. Why would they do that? God, that's actually terrible. Yeah, instead of +3 to all skills, you get +4 and +5. Or instead of +4 and +6, you get +3 and +5. Whereas without the essence, you get +5 and +7. Like, I don't understand this. That's such a stupid change. Rune of Grace, deflection rating. Grip of Kulma can no longer roll MS penalty. Okay, interesting. Desecrated Amulet mode. I don't think this matters. Corsair code, 5% MS instead of MS penalty reduced. Less arrow runes and Nova nerfed? Yeah. You can only have 1 plus arrow rune, and Nova has been pretty much nuked. So having more arrows on your bow mod might be good next league, actually. Potentially. Bunch of relic modifiers. Light footer can no longer roll. So yeah, no more 40% movement speed on Sakamas. Let me actually screenshot this and just send it to glitched. He would be so excited to see this. So, endgame changes. Probably the most exciting thing here. Potentially. I haven't gone through this, but I would imagine it is. So, let's go ahead and go through it. Maps no longer scale pack size as you increase in tier. So, they instead increase non-unique monster effectiveness. So, effectiveness seems to be this new stat that grants increased XP and item quantity, and also makes the monsters harder. But we don't care about the harder. We don't care about difficulty. We care about loot and XP. So as you go up in tiers, you get more XP and more loot. Huge thumbs up. Tablets can now have up to 4 mods, and you need to kill Arbiter to do that. So after killing Arbiter, you'll have access to infinite rare tablets. You no longer have to go to the trade site and hope someone rolled the exact one you need from just dropping it raw on an Arbiter. He also no longer drops a rare tablet on his own. Tablet mods that will roll in the generic precursor tablets can now roll on all tablet base types. No more quantity mod. No more delirium monsters increase progress. No more this mod, I guess. These mods are all, these mods are irrelevant. This mod is gonna be replaced by this, which is an increased effectiveness. So effectiveness is increased XP and quantity. So it's just a direct upgrade to quantity. So this is just a huge upgrade. +1 modifier to rares or to uniques. That's amazing. More mods, more loot. Same for this. map has 1 to 2 additional random mods. So these are there. Buffed all of these mods. Don't really see anything too impactful here. Like, these are all capped at the same for the most part. Like, I don't really see anything here that has a higher max range. It's just lower, or it has a higher, they all have a higher minimum range, but none of them have a higher ceiling. So it seems most of the things here just have a lower, or they have the same ceiling and a higher floor. I guess that's cool, but in practice, that doesn't really matter that much. Like, it effectively accomplishes nothing because you always just get the max roll tablets of trade set and ignore all the other ones. Effectiveness plus additional map mods on every tablet for juice pumpers. I think what you actually want to do is going to be effectiveness and pack size, because I think what you want to be doing is probably going to be abysses. But I have not really gone through the temple thing. I'm not sure how the temple thing works. Like, so it doesn't seem like you go do this in a map. Do you? Actually, maybe you do. But I don't know if map mods affect this, do they? So like, I guess you go in a map, you click the beacon, you go in, and then you're in the temple. But do the map mods matter for it? I'm not sure. Juicers will still buy premium with top rolls. I mean, it's just the correct thing to do. Everyone should be doing that, not just juicers. They have said that you need 5 maps to full clear a single temple. Wait, what? What does that mean? Like, it takes as long as 5 maps? So if you want to focus on temples, you will rush maps. I mean, you're rushing maps anyway, regardless of what you're doing, because it gets you to endgame, right? But don't you need... So you find the beacon on the ground, you enter it, and then you go into the temple. From what I understand, that's like the loop. Then I don't know if map mods affect the temple. If they don't, then you may just not care and run temples. If they do, then, well, you probably are running them in combination with abysses, realistically. But that info is just not out yet, I don't think, or at least we haven't gone through it in the patch notes. But yeah. All of these tablet mods have just got a higher floor, same ceiling, so yeah. So here's some exciting changes actually. New Atlas changes. You unlock a few rooms per map. If that's the case, then you're definitely running them in tandem. So you would want to be running abysses and breaches regardless, because there's no way to do only temple in that case. So yeah. In that case, you're definitely going to be wanting effectiveness plus pack size, I think. At least without knowing anything else so far. So, Zashed Madness. Breach mobs have 50% increased effectiveness. Holy. Wait, that's just good, isn't it? Damn. I mean... The thing is, this is only rare mobs in breaches, which is not that many, but this is a lot of effectiveness. You will be able to store your run's power or something to do a full run in one sitting. Okay, I mean, that's actually really cool. I think that sounds fun. I actually really like the idea of building your own dungeon. I think that sounds super cool. Map mods don't affect temples. Yeah, in that case, you are just going to be running the regular map juice of just Abyss, Bridge, pack size, effectiveness. Realistically. So yeah, Just Madness. This looks good, but I'm not super sold on it. Because it's only rares, and only breach rares. Do you think Witch Hunter is good? I'm gonna be honest with you, I have never played Witch Hunter, so I'm not the best person to ask. However, from my informed opinion, and looking at the patch notes, I think Witch Hunter was a class that is not super amazing already. And the buffs it got are very minor. So I don't know if it's very good, but it seems like it will be at the very least playable. Playable and good, however, are two different things. The Delirium tablet seems decent after you unlock all the notables. So, Prayer for Wealth has been removed. Okay. High Road now provides 10% chance for Waystones to be rare and corrupted. That just seems bad. Get Out of My Head and the Mirrors have swapped places. Get Out of My Head has been reworked. It now provides magic monsters in your maps have plus 25% chance to have an additional daily mod. And 100% increased rarity of items dropped by magic monsters. Holy, what the hell? Dude, this is insane. This is amazing, actually, isn't it? Yeah, Licho, you were right. The Delirium mods on the Atlas actually seem so good. What the hell? So, let me get this straight. Your magic monsters in your maps will have a 25% to have an additional daily mod. And they will have 100% increased rarity of items dropped by magic monsters in maps with multiple daily mods. So if you just have 2 daily mods on a map, which I'm assuming is not going to be that hard to do, because you get one from a tablet, and maybe just another one from a tablet if you really care for it. That would be kind of annoying though, because then you need to replace Abyss tablets, but I don't think you're going to need to do that. But this seems like a really good notable. Isn't It Tempting has been reworked. It now provides currency which drops from Delirium monsters in your maps is stolen by the map boss, and it has a 20% chance to be duplicated upon defeating the map boss. Huh. I don't think that's amazing, but I do think that is just good. Like it's straight up good, but it's not amazing. Like it's decent. Kind of like this. Like this and this are both just decent, I think. You could get lucky and drop a mirror, and then you have a 20% chance to dupe the mirror, but that's Dreamland, and I don't know if we're in Dreamland right now. You got a lot of this from magic mobs last patch already. Yep. Magic mobs are generally where you get most of your XP. Rare mobs are generally where you get most of your loot. But if you have a lot of rarity on magic mobs, that just is good because there's a lot of magic mobs, especially with the at least magic on the Abyss tablets and the overrun maps. So yeah, just seems good. Straight up, just good. This daily notable is now rare monsters always manifest deadly demons in your maps. 10% increased quantity of items dropped by rare monsters with manifested delirium demons. And they also grant 30% increased XP. That is also just good. Yeah, this delirium stuff actually looks incredibly good. This looks awesome. That's just great. I love that. I also love this one line of text. Waystones can no longer be instilled using liquid emotions. Dude, fucking get me out of the loop. Like, oh, I'm so happy to see that, actually. Like, guys, we no longer have to do this. Gone are the days where you do this and you just click and still and you repeat that process 10,000 billion trillion times. We're free. We're free. Yeah, Delhi Abyss is gonna be probably really, really good. Let's just hope they won't fuck up with Mirrors of Delirium not spawning again. Can you imagine that actually? Like, they just don't spawn and everyone is just crying? Oh god, that would suck. But let's hope for the best, I guess. Hoping for the best seems like a good plan. Improved the visuals of Delirium Fog. Yeah, they did say that. This is a nice change. It looks better in the trailer as well, when they showed it somewhere around here, I think. It's somewhere in here. Delhi no longer has a reward bar indicator. Instead, Delhi monsters have a chance to drop liquid emotions. I like that change actually. I don't like the reward indicator, so I like that. Thumbs up. Delhi bosses have a guaranteed liquid emotion drop and an increased chance to drop higher tier liquid emotions. That's good. Also just thumbs up. Boss waves and simulacrum also drop a guaranteed liquid emotion. Still just thumbs up. Idols are no longer required to access Val Vault maps. Thank goodness for that. Dude, I remember at the start of the league, I found a Val Vault, right? And I don't know if I still have it, but I think I just straight up never cleared it. It's just chilling here because I needed an idol to access it. The idols costed 3 div at the time and I had no fucking idea how to get one. I didn't get one from clearing any of these maps. So I didn't want to buy one from Tradeside because I don't know, is it worth it? I didn't want to find out and get fucked in the end, so I just passed on it. But now I'm not gonna need to do that because you will no longer need the idol. So thank goodness for that. Vaults of Kamasa no longer affected by party bonuses. That's probably a good change, to be honest. Reminder that after releasing patch, they will go on vacation, so whatever bug happens, it will stay like 30 days. Yeah, that's true actually. To be fair, the Temporalis dupe may have lasted for a long time, but the infinite reroll on rituals, it did not last for a long time at all. It ended like immediately, so you never know. Maybe they'll go on vacation, maybe they won't. It depends. But it is Christmas, so maybe they will. Speaking of which, how are you guys doing? It is almost Christmas. Do you guys have any plans for Christmas? I'm probably gonna go back to see my family on Christmas as well. So that's exciting. That sounds like it will be fun. And yeah. They weren't on vacation. Yeah, exactly. Added an alt objective icon for activating all checkpoints. Yep, that's cool. Thumbs up. No more Breach Ritual Delhi Expe from Map Legend, as they no longer have icons shown on your atlas. Alright. Quality of life change, that's nice. Monster changes. Bosses have an anti-burst damage mechanic. Once the boss finishes the merge or becomes aggro, the damage reduction period starts counting down. The damage reduction tapers down from full effect to no effect over the course of this duration. For every unit the boss moves from a starting location, the damage reduction will fall off even faster. Bosses which cannot or barely move have a shorter damage reduction period. So, basically what I'm understanding here is they don't want bosses to get one shot. What's actually going to happen is that I'm going to one-shot them anyway. But this, knowing that this exists, is going to make the one-shots even more spectacular. So even though this change works against me, I actually like the change because I welcome the challenge. As for this text here, I guess it doesn't matter that much, right? Like, let me actually look at it. Yeah, this doesn't matter that much. UI changes. Sure. Microtransactions, don't care. Bug fixes. Does anything here matter? No, I don't really think so. That's about it. Yeah. So those are the patch notes. And let's actually take a look at some of the notables from the new atlas, because they're not on the patch notes, so I want to just look at them. Abysses in new maps spawn 25% increased monsters, and they are scattered throughout the area. That seems good. 100% increased chance for abysses in your map to lead to a boss. That seems bad, actually, but I guess you just don't take it. They also mentioned this, a nearby map has been overrun by the abyssal, so that can happen, which is really exciting. If you can chain your maps to always be overrun, that sounds amazing. Explicit mods on your waystones applying to abyssal depths in the map area. Oh, wait, this is actually really good, isn't it? Yeah, that's actually really good, because you basically double down on the map. You get the abyssal depths, and you clear it, so you basically save up on maps by doing this. So that's actually just good. I like that. Let's hope they will release the skill tree earlier this time. I think it was 40 minutes before 0.3 launched last time. Yeah, I think it was too, so... The chance is probably abysmal for the overrun to happen. Maybe. They didn't say how much it is, so we can hope. But if it could chain for like decent amount, I think it would be really interesting. And also, oh fuck, I moved my cursor. So, where were we? So, this is a tier 16 uncorrupted waystone, by the way. I'm still curious as to how these are going to work. Like, how do we get these? Do we get these? Are they just there for show? Are they just flexing on us? Are GGG just flexing their PSA 10 uncorrupted tier 16 waystone collection on us? Or is this like something we'll be able to use? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Not today, but eventually. They confirmed on Reddit that the tier 16 item was bugged. They can only be acquired by corrupting the tier 15. Oh, that sucks. I guess it makes sense though. To be fair, there are uncorrupted tier 16s. I don't know if you guys know, but back in 0.1, I believe, Arbiter had a chance to drop tier 16s, and they didn't have to be corrupted. So these are just uncorrupted tier 16s, basically. Also, they are apparently listed, they're all listed by the same fucking guy for 20 div. What the hell? That's interesting. The Atziri Quiver will be insane if you can corrupt piece number down to 1. What is the Atziri Quiver, actually? Where do you guys see the items? Like, they're not in the patch notes. Like, where are these cool uniques everyone's talking about? They did remove that pretty fast as soon as people started farming them. Yeah, they did. That is correct. Let me actually see. Can I find any of these on PoEDB? Check link above last message. What is the link above last message? I don't see it. Am I blind? They're not data mined, it doesn't seem. Oh wait, is this it? Lethal draw? No, it's not it. What is it called, actually? Is it like somewhere in here? I'm pretty sure it's not. Do you not see the link I'm posting in the chat? No. I'm pretty sure links just get auto-deleted by YouTube. Like, when I try to post links, they always just disappear. And I don't know why. So, I would imagine the same happens to other people. Is it maybe here somewhere? No? Well, I don't see it anywhere. Maybe you can post it on Discord. Like, are you on the Discord server? Like, if you post it there, it will be fine, because, I mean, I don't have any restrictions here, so you can just post links or whatever. It's /druids on PoE2 website. Oh, okay. So like here, the resource you are looking for does not exist or has been removed. Huh. That's weird. Am I missing something? Oh wait, it should be Path of Exile 2. Right. Okay. Let's see. Alright, there. Yeah, that works. I see it. Alright, let's look at some of this new stuff, actually. Because I didn't see any of this. So that is what the talismans are gonna look like. They seem to be primarily physical, like martial weapons. So that's cool. New martial item. There also are unique ones. This one does not seem like a good one, but it seems like certainly a talisman of all time. Let's see. Lunar Assault. Seems good. Seems good. Seems good. They did show all these skills in the thing as well. And yeah, Bear Form might actually care about glory generation, because this skill seems very good. So you roar and you bring down like fireballs, like a lot of fireballs. And it actually seems to do a lot of damage. 374% of attack damage, which is a lot actually. So yeah, that seems good. The skills themselves do seem quite nice. Let's actually look at some of the wyvern ones. The wing, the melee attacks didn't seem very interesting, but the fire breath could be really good. So you convert 100% of fizz to fire, 750% more ignite magnitude. This might just be the ignite build, huh? You also get your own... So this is the spell totem, actually. You use 3 power or endurance charges to raise a totem that uses socketed spells. The only issue I see with this is that goddamn getting 3 endurance and power charges is gonna be a pain in the ass to use this. That being said, a totem that casts spells sounds insanely powerful, so I'm all for it. Can I actually look at them? No, they don't have the skill tree. That's sad. I wanted to look at the skill tree so I can see like all the notables for them. 3 is nasty. 3 is in fact nasty. Yes. It's a lot of investment, and it's not so easy to get it. I mean, it's easy to get it while mapping, but while mapping is not where you're gonna be caring for it. So that's the issue. Need to hope that new notables and keystones will help with charges. For spell totem, if you want to do that, then yeah, you will have to definitely hope for that, because it's 3 is a lot, essentially. That's what it boils down to. Let's look at some of these new lineage gems. Supporter skills trigger fire reclamation on landing, which is explosion that deals fire damage equal to 6% of a corpse's maximum life. So this is basically corpse explosion for leap slam. I don't know if that's good, but that sounds cool. It could also be, actually you could use this as a wyvern maybe, potentially. Supports attacks you use yourself. Freezing an enemy with supporter skills infuses you and your allies with cold damage. Alright. When you freeze a target with supporter skills, for each 1 raid you have, you and allies in your presence gain 1% of damage as cold damage for 20 seconds. That sounds really good until you realize that you have to freeze with it, so it's probably bad. Tectonic slams. Support slams use yourself. Supporter skills have 30% less aftershock AoE, 45% less damage with aftershocks, 1 additional aftershock ahead and to each side of the initial area. I think this is gonna suffer from the same issue that the current aftershock doubler skill is suffering from, which is that if you reduce the damage of it, you don't care about doing more aftershocks because it just does fucking shit damage. So yeah. Supporter skills become usable after you have moved 10 meters. Become usable again after using supporter skills. Have 50% less AoE, less damage. Count as having 50% less power. Echoed 2 times. 100% more AoE per time they have echoed. 3 downsides. Yeah, skills with this many downsides are usually just bad. Like support gems, I mean. Because, yeah, it's cool you get this flashy effect, but your skill becomes so bad when you put it on. So, like, what's the point? It feels a little the same with this, right? Because, like, this seems super cool, but, I mean, what's the point? Your Warcry is gonna be so shit. This is about plants. I can't really comment on plants. Balance. Atziri, Atziri. Atziri, Atziri. For real. Yep. This is the temple. Build your own dungeon. Claim the treasures. Corruption. Love corruption. Double corrupted items. That is super cool, in fact. I do love the idea of double corrupting items. Also, actually, wait. Can you get the same corruption twice? Like, can you get +1 to level on a gem twice? That would be kind of pog. If you could do that. Luke King, indeed. Very, very much so. And yeah, so these are the currencies you get. So these are currency. Oh yeah, you can also get you can get more limbs. This is something that they showed earlier. At some point. I think that's a super cool fucking mechanic as well. Where is it? Oh yeah, here's the unique staff they showed. Somewhere in here. Seems pretty ass, sadly. Just stats are too bad. Anyway, where's the limbs? It has to be in here, right? I mean, they did show it in the video. Am I just blind? Where is it? Okay, anyway, so the point with this is you're gonna go to this device right here and you're gonna have a choice to give yourself more limbs. You can get another arm or another leg, and you may think that's super cool, but wait until you find out. This other arm or leg, or whatever limb you get, actually give you stat ups. And those stat ups can be pretty fucking cool. And you know what I love? More stats. More character power. So that is super cool. And also, you die means you lose them. So basically just don't die and you don't lose them. So I think that's cool. Yeah, you also have this thing. Apparently there are unique Val mods. So you can essentially replace the downside on these mods. Like, you could delete the random curse on you when totems die and just replace it with 25% attack speed and cast speed if you summon a totem recently. Limbs at 2845. Thank you. Let's go to 2845. There we go. That's what it looks like. You go to this thing, you step on it, you get locked in, and then you lock in. And yeah, you just get fucked, but then you get more limbs, and that's fun. And more stats. And yeah, this actually seems really powerful potentially. Like, yeah, just straight up, this seems super powerful. This is cool. I like that. So you just go here, you use one of these on a specific Val item. It could delete the upside or the downside or just add new mods to it. It could do both. It could do all three. It could do anything. It could be magical or terrible. So yeah, the insane items are going to exist and they're going to be super epic. Val belts that get Headhunter modifier. Are there? There might be. I'm not sure, honestly. Oh yeah, you can also do the same to tablets. Like, for example, this tablet has 20 users remaining. Insane. This tablet has 5 mods. Unique Mugget will be hot with the unique corrupting. Yes, it will be. Same with these 5 mod tablets, I imagine. You can also finally do this thing where you can actually get the socketables out of your items that are shit. You can just do it here. So I like that change because goddamn did it feel bad to have like Rabbit Talisman on like some garbage item. Or some other super expensive socketable. Modifies a soul core unpredictably. Oh. Oh yeah, you can also get unique soul cores. You can corrupt your soul cores and make new ones. These are basically the abyssal eyes from last league. These do seem like they have potential, but the ones they've shown I don't think are very good. For example, this one, you lose 5% of max life per second while sprinting, but you get 25% more speed while sprinting. So basically, this one is just bad. But this one is also just bad, to be fair, but maybe the other ones will be good. That's the hope. Still no scouring and alternation orbs, so I can base farm in peace. Yeah, you can. There's still no scouring. Guatilitis Ablation. While an offering from supported skills dies, regenerate 5% of your life and mana per second for as long as that offering was alive. Supported skills sacrifice 20% of life on use. And you get a power charge every 4 seconds. I think that's kind of bad. I mean, it's a support gem, so it's actually not bad, because I think you do just put this on because you have nothing else to put on offerings. But I don't think it's very good. Like, I think it's just decent. 4 more tablets is going to be 20 to 40 div. I don't think so, actually. Because you got to keep in mind, the tablets have a much higher floor now. And all of them will be rare. So I think 4 more tablets are not going to be 20 to 40 div until later in the league, at the very least. Since everyone can make rare ones. What is this one? Oh, there's so much text on this one. Supported skills create cursed ground. Enemies on the cursed ground from a supported skill are cursed while in it. Trigger annihilation or cursed ground have persist for 7 seconds. It does physical damage. Hits 6 times over 2 seconds. Alright, I think that's fine. It literally just seems fine, to be honest. Like, this is decent. Alright, here we go. Oops. So, let's look at the tier uniques. We get adds a kill threshold to a corrupted rare jewelry item. When the threshold is met, it siphons a random mod and improves the numeric value. Oh! Wait, that's so good! Guys, that's insane, isn't it? This currency item seems so fucking good, actually. Because what you do is, you get the worst mod out of your item, you delete it, and then you improve the magnitude of the other mods on the item. That seems so good. Well, it only works for jewelry, I guess, which kind of sucks, but that still just seems so good. I love this. I'm so into this currency item. That seems super cool. Anyway, here's the staff. Mirrors appear in your presence periodically. Hitting a mirror with a spell projectile causes it to shatter, copying the projectiles around the destroyed mirror. Yeah, that seems very bad. So, unfortunate, to be honest. Like, the staff is cool. It's cool, but it's just bad. 80% rarity rings. Oh, I'm thinking of, like, +5 amulets instead. We don't need any 80% rarity ring. I just want a +5 amulet. Drill neck, penetrating quiver, plus life, attack speed, deflection rating. Projectiles return if they pierced at least 2 times. Projectiles deal more damage with hits for each time they have pierced and have more crit chance for each time they have pierced. The quiver is the same stats as Nimitz special from PoE 1. I did not play PoE 1, so I'm not really familiar, but it doesn't seem that good to me, right? Like, I feel like you still just would want a +2 quiver, honestly. It seems like a cool concept though, like this seems like a fun item, but I don't think it's very good, to be honest. Abyss tablets, very nice. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's all the patch notes. That's all the stuff in the trailer, I believe, and all the items. So I think this is gonna be a good league. I think it's looking promising. And I'm excited to play it. I hope you guys are too. You can value to be 1 Pierce. Wait. Hold on. Can you do that? I don't think you can do that in this game. I mean, unless there's a roll range, but currently, Val orbs go from 0.78 to 122%. So it cannot roll down to a 1 if it's a 2 in this game. If it did go down to a 1, it would be pretty gas, to be honest. But I don't think you can do that, unless they change something. Actually, if you double corrupt it, it might be able to, potentially. But I'm not sure if that actually works. Either way. Yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys are right about the 1 requirement, because that would be pretty gas, to be honest. But for now, I have been talking for long enough to want to get more water, and I think I'm gonna get groceries in a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed. You sure, because it always rolls down if you're all negative. The thing is, no, because, for example, what's an item that has 2 in it? Let's actually, what is a good example here? Have you thought about your league starter? I am probably gonna play either a witch or a druid. I'm probably gonna do ED Contagion for campaign, and then try to do something correlated to spellcasting for maps until tier 15s. Let me actually think, what is a good example? So, actually, I know a good example. Quivers. So, when you sanctify an item, it can roll 80 to 120%, which is almost the same range as Val. The thing is, as you can see, there is no such thing as a +3 projectile quiver. Or a +1. Because, well, you can't overroll it because it just doesn't reach the roll range. Like, how it works is basically this. So, you start out with 2, right? And then you multiply the 2 by anywhere between 0.878 to 1.22, right? So if you hit the minus 22%, let's actually see what it is. You will have a 1.56. That means that it will do the thing of rounding up and it will become 2. It will not roll down to 1. It's the same for if you try to roll it up, it will just go to 2.44. And it will just stay at 2 because it rounds down to 2 because it's not big enough. If it's bigger than 50, it rolls up. If it's smaller than 50, it rolls down. You can also see this in the temporalysis. For example, they go up to 2.38 right here. So yeah, it cannot roll down to 1 in the current game state, pretty much. You're going with Hunters want to tie Lightning Spear plus Palm of the Dreamer. That's fair. Yeah, corpse removal is the biggest thing for Palm of the Dreamer, in my opinion. Because goddamn does it make the game run so much smoother. But yeah, I am probably gonna do like a maybe league starting or league prep video or stream at some point before the league. And then after that, I'll probably just start streaming the league. But yeah, until then, I do think I'm about to go get myself some groceries and make food after. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope the stream was fun for you as it was for me. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see all of you in the next one.